A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
And its 98,000 dealers bring you Mr. Ronald Coleman in tonight's presentation of Suspense.
Tonight, Autolite brings you the story of a mind reader who discovers his nightclub act is not a fake, a vision of death. Our star, Mr. Ronald Coleman.
What's the trouble, Oscar Otto?
It's my battery, Harlow. Water, please.
Why, sure. But why not avoid that battery distress, Oscar? Get an Autolite Stay Full, the battery that needs water only 3 times a year in normal car use.
Is that a fact, Harlow?
A fact that millions of cars and owners have proved for themselves, Oscar. And the Autolite Stay Full gives longer life, too. Fiberglass retaining mats protect every positive plate to reduce shedding and flaking, and give the Autolite Stay Full longer life, as proved by tests conducted according to accepted life cycle standards.
Where do I get this no-worry battery, Harlow?
From your nearest Autolite battery dealer. To quickly locate him, phone Western Union by number and ask for Operator 25.
I'll tell you the name of your nearest Autolite battery dealer, where you can get an Autolite Stay Full, the battery that needs water only 3 times a year in normal car use.
And remember, from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite.
And now, Autolite presents A Vision of Death, starring Mr. Ronald Coleman, hoping once again to keep you in suspense.
If I speak too rapidly for your stenographer, you'll tell me, won't you, Lieutenant? No offense, but he impresses me as someone who has to sit on the floor to put on his shoes. And stop me if I seem to wander away from the point, won't you? I mean to say, this is my first and, I hope, final appearance in a police precinct, and I should hate to give a sloppy performance. We were always known, Aurora and I, for the smoothness and gem-like precision of our act. As far as this murder... rap, I suppose it's called, is concerned, an acquaintance with our act is the essential rabbit. Awfully good act. Smart, informal, occasionally humorous, and always mystifying. Well, the act always began with music, never with the cliché fanfare of trumpets or roll of drums. I would saunter out to the center of the floor and say something like, "Good evening. You are about to witness an exhibition of mental telepathy. Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce Aurora, my wife?" Ah, they never failed to give her a hand. What would they applaud? Why, the vision she presented as she came toward me. There has never been anyone as lovely as Aurora, the most beautiful flesh in the profession. Now, Aurora, would you care to tell the audience, or shall I?
You tell them, Judd, while I tie the blindfold across my eyes.
Ladies and gentlemen, all mind readers employ a gimmick. A gimmick is a trick, a device. For example, when the mind reader, threading his way through the audience, says to the mind reader sitting blindfolded on the stage, "A lady has given me a small object which I now hold in my hand. What is it?" And the mind reader, sitting blindfolded, replies, "A silver coin." The answer has not come through mind reading. No, it has come through the gimmick. A cue or signal communicated through the very question itself.
But we don't do that.
We do not. You will notice, ladies and gentlemen, that I never speak to Aurora at all. Now, are you ready, Rory?
Ready, Judd?
Here we go, then. Now, you, sir, you have something? Good. Concentrate upon it like a good chap. And
the
you
gentleman holds a coin in his hand. It's a Mexican peso bearing the date 1892.
Oh, that's very clever of you, madam. I'll be surprised if she gets this one.
The
now, how about
lady
you?
holds in her hand her other hand.
Yep, a sucker once born remains a sucker till death. The audience never realized, never in all the years we worked, that although I was not speaking to Aurora directly, my chatter nevertheless was loaded with signals and cues for her guidance. By revealing the gimmick, we concealed the gimmick, and that, Lieutenant, is the ne plus ultra of gimmicks. Yes, it was as crude as that. But it enabled us to work 50 weeks a year here and abroad at an average of over 1,000 a week. Of course, I always gave some credit for our success to our agent, Harry Arnold, although Rory was inclined to give him no credit at all.
Good news, Judd. I've managed to book the act into the College Inn in Chicago with a 4-week guarantee. That's not bad, huh?
Get him. He managed to book the act. I suppose they never heard of us in Chicago. I suppose we weren't held over there 6 weeks when we played the Sans-Souci in 1948.
Well, you think it's easy to get a 4-week guarantee these days? Money is short. Money is tight.
I have never yet heard you say money is long, money is loose. You have to sweat for your 10%, don't you? Yes, you do. In a pig's ear, you do. Agents, they're all alike.
There's gratitude for you. There's the milk of human memory. What were you when I first saw you? Nothing, not this much. Playing 10 a day under canvas in Monash, Wisconsin, and paid off in bottle tops. I worked, I schemed, I sweated.
Agents, all of them. All they know is how to live off a dead whale. Scum of the earth.
I'm not going to take that from you, you hear me?
You'll take it, baby, along with the 10%. You'll take it, you'll chew it, you'll swallow it, and you'll keep it down. How do you like that?
I'm warning you, kid. Don't push me too far. Don't push me.
Children. Now, on your way, Harry, and don't let it get you down. I think a 4-week guarantee is pretty good.
Thanks, Judd. If it wasn't for you, I'd... Yeah, why go into it? I'm going for a walk.
But aside from these altercations between Rory and Harry, it was smooth sailing. We wore the best, ate the best, drank the best, stayed at the finest hotels. And every Saturday night after the performance, Harry would bring us our salary. He'd bring it in cash. 1,000, 1,250, 1,500. I've the old performer's distrust of checks. Been given too many with a high latex content. Anyway, life couldn't have been more placid. And then, one evening, about 5 weeks ago, soon after we opened at the Grove here in town, a frightening thing occurred. We'd just begun the act, and I was out in the audience. You will notice, ladies and gentlemen, that I never speak to Aurora at all. Now, are you ready, Rory?
Ready, Judd?
Here we go, then. Now, you, madam.
The lady
you have
holds in her hand a compact. It is platinum. It bears her initials, R.C.
You, sir.
The gentleman is holding an engagement ring. In it are 3 small diamonds.
Miss, what would you...
The young lady is holding... It's a small cameo brooch.
Rory! Maurice, music! I picked Rory up from the floor and hurried with her to our dressing room, almost beside myself with anxiety. I placed her on the couch, dampened a towel, and put it on her forehead and began to chafe her wrists. Rory, honey, Rory.
Judd.
I'm here, Rory. Are you all right?
I guess so. I don't know what happened.
Well, you fainted away. Try to remember what happened.
I felt funny. I don't remember.
Now, try, Rory, try. Try to remember. It's important.
I can't. Why is it important?
You don't know? Rory, you don't know? You were calling out the answers before I even had a chance to give you the cues. Do you believe in telepathy, Lieutenant? I don't mean the sort of thing Rory and I usually did. I mean real telepathy. I never did either until that night. I don't mind telling you I was badly shaken. I mean, after all, I knew we'd been using a gimmick, and suddenly it began to happen without the gimmick. Scared us to death. We didn't know what we were getting into. But we went on with the act, and in my mind, I began to search about for the answer. I found it, of course. You'll find a gimmick in almost everything, if you look hard enough. I've got it, Rory. We worked together so long that you know what I'm about to say before I say it. From my inflection, my pauses, even my movements. You see?
Oh, Judd, that has to be it.
Oh, this is marvelous. When Harry gets back, I'll tell him about it.
And if I last till tomorrow, he can ask the management for more dough.
As soon as he gets back. Next Thursday.
Tonight. How much more should we ask for?
Tonight? What made you say tonight?
Well, I don't know.
Well, you were there when he told me he'd be in Palm Springs till Thursday. What made you say tonight?
I don't know. What difference does it make? Stop picking on me. So I made a mistake, so what?
I don't see how you can make such a mistake, that's all.
Oh, Judd, leave me alone. I've been worried half crazy about really being able to read your mind. I've been under a strain. So Harry's coming back Thursday and not tonight. All right, are you satisfied? He'll be here Thursday, not tonight.
You Justice Stone, mister? This dressing room, eh?
Yeah, what is it?
Telegram, sign here.
Sign for it, will you, Rory?
There you are, kid. Judd, I'm sorry I blew up in your face. Judd, what's the matter?
It's from Harry. He's coming in tonight. And he did, too, Lieutenant. Rory was so upset by it she couldn't go on at all that evening. She had no explanation for how she knew, none whatsoever.
I don't know, Judd. I just don't know. My mind seemed to go blank. I seemed to hear a voice whisper in my ear, Harry Arnold will be with you tonight. That's all.
When we got back to our suite at the hotel, Harry was there, waiting for us.
Oh, what happened? Well, what happened? You both look like ghosts.
Harry, I'll tell you some other time. Leave us alone, will you?
All right, I'm going. I just came to wish you a happy birthday and to give you this.
Birthday? Oh, thanks, Harry. Thanks. What is it?
Well, open it, why don't you?
It's a bathrobe. A red silk bathrobe. With your initials.
That's right, it's a red... How does she know? How do you know?
Get out of here! Get out of here! Judd, make him get out of here!
I won't be talked to like that. I don't care who she is. I won't be talked to like that.
Harry, shut up. For heaven's sake, shut up and go away. Leave us alone. Go. Get out. Get out.
You too, Judd? She's got you talking against me, too? All right, I'm going. I'm going, but from here on in, it's strictly business between us. I wash my hands.
He kept his word, Lieutenant. From that time on, he kept himself to himself. And I was prepared to let it go at that, much as I liked Harry. Until the night I was awakened by Rory, moaning in her sleep.
No. No, please, no. No.
Rory, wake up. You're having a bad dream, Rory.
No. Judd.
It's all right. I'm here.
Oh, Judd.
What, Rory?
The voice.
Whispering again?
Yes. Oh, Judd.
What?
He's going to kill me. Harry Arnold is going to kill me.
And that, Lieutenant, was the beginning of the end of that.
Autolite is bringing you Mr. Ronald Coleman in A Vision of Death. Tonight's presentation in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Hey, Harlow, here's a riddle.
Shoot, Oscar Otto.
I got it, and I have it.
You've got an Autolite Stay Full battery, and now you have a power-packed Paragon that gives quick, dependable starts and needs water only 3 times a year in normal car use.
You said a stay full, Harlow.
Just what every driver should say when he needs a battery, Oscar. An Autolite Stay Full with the fiberglass retaining mats protecting every positive plate to reduce shedding and flaking and give that brawny battery longer life, as proved by tests conducted according to accepted life cycle standards. So, friends, choose the battery that states right on the case, needs water only 3 times a year in normal car use. To learn quickly where to get an Autolite Stay Full battery, just phone Western Union by number and ask for Operator 25.
I'll tell you the location of your nearest Autolite battery dealer, the expert on all makes of batteries.
And remember, from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite.
And now, Autolite brings back to our Hollywood soundstage Mr. Ronald Coleman in Elliot Lewis's production of A Vision of Death, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Rory, get a grip on yourself.
He's going to kill me. Harry's going to kill me.
Don't be ridiculous. Stop it now. It was just a bad dream.
He's going to kill me.
Will you stop that? Will you stop saying that?
Judd, hold me. I'm frightened. Harry's going to kill me.
You've had a bad dream, I tell you.
He hates me. He hates me. Oh, Judd, he's going to kill me.
I'm a rational man, Lieutenant. I've always felt, for example, that when Hamlet says there are stranger things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in your philosophy, Horatio ought to reply, tell that to Sweeney. I knew there was no such thing as mental telepathy. I knew it as well as I know I'm sitting here talking to you. Up here in my head, I knew it. And yet, the next afternoon, I found myself entering a gun shop and purchasing a revolver and a box of bullets, determined that before Harry Arnold could so much as injure one hair of Rory's head, I would kill him. I should have gone directly to the police first. You're using hindsight, Lieutenant. I had all that out with Rory.
Please, Judd, please, go to the police. Tell them about this. Let them handle it.
Well, tell them what? That by reading his mind, we've learned Harry intends to murder you?
They'll believe us. They've got to believe us.
You're reasoning like a child. They'll decide that it's either a publicity stunt or else that we're both lunatics.
But if I tell them about the telegram and the birthday present...
Rory, we have no proof.
We have to do something.
What? Tell me what? You know he intends to kill you. I know he intends to kill you. But what can we do? Do you know when he's going to do it or how he's going to do it?
No. He hasn't decided yet. Oh, Judd, isn't there anything we can do?
Nothing. Except wait. I reacted to the waiting as you might expect, Lieutenant. Sleeplessness, loss of appetite, growing irritability. I flared up at everyone. Waiters, chambermaids, elevator boys, the manager of the club. The manager of the club. He finally said to me...
Stone, what the devil's gotten into you? I'd really like to know.
None of your business.
Well, look, I'm only trying to be nice.
Oh, shut up and leave me alone.
Sure, I'll let you alone. I'd let you alone right now if your contract didn't have another week to run. But after that, I'll let you strictly alone. You'll never work this club again. You maniac.
I began to drink quite heavily. Quite noticeably. I was going crazy just from the waiting. And then the waiting came to an end. It was around 3 in the morning. I was sitting up in bed, in the dark, smoking, when Rory opened her eyes and said...
Judd.
Yes?
The voice.
Yes.
He's going to kill me here. Right here in this room.
Rory.
Saturday. This Saturday. At midnight. Oh, Judd.
Oh, Rory, sweetheart.
He's going to shoot me. He has a gun. He's going to shoot me. He's going to get you downstairs in the manager's office at the club. And while you're there, he's going to come up here.
No, Rory, listen to me. I want you to listen to me. You're mistaken, do you understand? You've been having another bad dream, and that's all there is to it.
No, Judd, I swear it. He just thought of it. Just this minute. He's standing at a bar. Standing there all by himself, drinking. And he's just this minute decided.
You're making it up.
Judd, no. It's the bar over at the Tuscany Hotel. I see it so clear.
You're wrong. You're wrong. I'll prove you're wrong.
Desk.
Get me the bar at the Tuscany, will you? Over on Sunset?
One moment, please.
You'll see, Rory. He's not there at all. You'll see it's just a dream. Just a bad dream.
Tuscany Cocktail Lounge.
Hello. Is Harry Arnold there at the bar?
Harry Arnold? No, I'm sorry, he's not.
He's not? You sure of that?
Sure, I'm sure. He was here all evening and left about a minute ago. I said goodnight to him myself. Want me to have...
Look, Lieutenant, my hands. It's just the memory of how I felt at that moment, and my hands begin to tremble again. Amazing, isn't it? Now, that was last Thursday night, or rather Friday morning. Towards daybreak, Rory sobbed herself to sleep, but I was restless. I got dressed and went downstairs and got into my car. The long drive, as always, relaxed me. But when I got behind the wheel... Oh, I don't know what it was, possibly the fresh air, but all at once I felt as though I couldn't keep my eyes open for another moment. Simply had to have some sleep. So I crawled into the back seat, curled myself up in one corner, pulled the rug over me, and went out like a light. I was awakened around noon by the sound of voices.
Don't smile at me, you idiot. They may see us. Look businesslike.
Where is he?
I don't know. Since he hasn't got the car, he must be out walking.
Did he fall for it last night?
Just like he fell for all the rest of it. The red bathrobe, stooges you planted in the audience. He even phoned the bar just after you left. Oh, I timed it beautifully.
Satin skin. I can hardly keep away from you.
After tomorrow night, we'll have all the time in the world for each other, Harry.
You want the whole story, that it's going to happen at midnight? Tomorrow, your place?
Every word. Just do what you have to do now. Remember to come to the dressing room before the 8 o'clock show. Tell him you've set up a meeting with Stamper, the manager, in Stamper's office at 12.
Yeah, I want them to shake hands and be friends again, I'll tell them.
Yes, and don't forget, when you come to our door at midnight, keep talking to the elevator boy. Don't let him go, whatever you do. You want him to testify with self-defense.
Don't worry. I won't forget a thing. You'll handle all the rest of it?
Just leave it to me.
I mean about his gun. That's pretty important, you know.
Don't worry. It'll misfire.
It had been difficult for me to tell you what I felt as they walked away, Lieutenant. One part of me felt the way a man ought to feel, I suppose, when he learns that the woman he loves is not only unfaithful, but plotting his death as well. But another part of me felt only relief. Relief at learning there was a gimmick in this too. They'd been fairly clever for amateurs. Harry had a good excuse for carrying a gun to protect the cash he brought me each Saturday. My own behavior in recent weeks would lend weight to what he would probably offer in his defense, that I must have been crazy, that for no reason at all I'd opened the door, pointed a revolver at him, and threatened his life, that he had to shoot in self-defense. The presence of the elevator boy, well, that could mean only that Harry would shoot just as soon as I opened the door. I'd be found dead with a revolver in my hand and a heartbroken agent at my side. Tableau. I found myself hoping, as I never hoped before, that they'd come to their senses before Saturday. That they'd realize what a vicious, inhuman thing it was they were planning. But just before the 8 o'clock show that night, there was a knock at the door of our dressing room. Come in.
Judd, I've been talking to Stamper, the manager. He's sorry there's bad blood between you and wants to square it. I told him you'd be in his office at 12 to talk things over. All right with you?
Yeah.
We don't want it so we'll never work here again, do we? I mean, there's no reason we should.
No reason at all.
Button my dress, Judd.
See you later, Judd.
Yeah, later. We did the show and then went up to our suite. I convinced Rory that I should meet Harry alone, and then I helped her pack a small overnight bag. I loaded the revolver, and then there was nothing to do but wait. The minutes passed. 9 o'clock, 10, 10:30, and I waited.
Judd?
Yes?
It doesn't seem right to leave you here alone. Harry might...
No, you go. Things might not turn out as I planned. I might not be able to stop him. And if I fail to stop him... No, it's best that you go. Just wait at the motel until you hear from me. What time is it?
Almost 11. 2 minutes of 11.
I'm out of cigarettes.
Desk.
This is Mr. Stone in 1101. Please send up a carton of players, will you?
Right away, Mr. Stone.
I want you to go now, Rory.
Judd, let me call the police, please.
It'd be useless. We've gone into it, and it would be useless.
Well, then come with me. He won't find anybody here.
And he'd choose another place, another time. Now, here's your valise.
You have your gun?
In my pocket.
You won't take any chances. I don't know what I'd do if you were hurt.
I won't take any chances. Now, let me help you on with your coat.
Oh, Judd, I love you so.
Yeah, I know. And I love you, Rory. I really do, you know. You ready?
Yes. 11 o'clock. He'll be here in an hour.
Yeah. Go now, Rory. Kiss me goodbye.
Judd.
Oh, the cigarettes. Get them, will you, darling? Will I find change?
Harry.
Rory.
I shall always remember the look on Harry's face, Lieutenant, as she sank to the floor. They'd concocted a bad dream between them, and it had come true. I'll bet he still doesn't know how it happened. If you pass his cell, you might tell him. Just whisper the word gimmick into his ear. Yeah, that's what I said, gimmick. I gimmicked the clock while Rory was dressing, set it back a full hour. It was 11 to her, but 12 to him. I adore gimmicks, don't you?
Suspense. Presented by Autolite. Tonight's star, Mr. Ronald Coleman.
This is Harlow Wilcox speaking for Autolite and bringing back our distinguished star, Mr. Coleman.
Thank you, Harlow. You know, it's been over 2 years since I last played in Autolite's Theater of Thrills. But I've listened to Suspense attain new dramatic heights this season, with such exciting fare as Edwin Drood and, of course, Othello. Harlow, my congratulations to our producer-director, Elliot Lewis, and to Autolite for magnificent radio entertainment.
Thank you, Mr. Coleman. And friends, you can always expect the finest from Autolite, the world's largest independent manufacturer of automotive electrical equipment. Every Autolite product is backed by constant research and precision built to the highest standards of quality and performance. No wonder Autolite serves the greatest names in the industry. Yes, from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite.
Next week, we recreate one of the great mysteries of the sea. A ship found drifting in perfect condition, but with no human aboard. The mystery of the Marie Celeste. Our star, Mr. Van Heflin. That's next week on Suspense. Suspense is produced and directed by Elliot Lewis, with music composed by Lucian Morowick and conducted by Lud Gluskin. A Vision of Death was adapted for Suspense by Walter Brown Newman from the original story by Jerry Hausner. In tonight's story, Mary Jane Croft was heard as Aurora. Featured in the cast were Hy Averback, Benny Rubin, Julie Bennett, and Charles Calvert.
You can buy Autolite Stay-Full batteries, Autolite resistor or standard type spark plugs, and Autolite electrical parts at your neighborhood Autolite dealers. Switch to Autolite. Good night.
This is the CBS Radio Network. And its 98,000 dealers bring you Mr. Van Heflin in tonight's presentation of
Suspense. Tonight, Autolite tells of one of the great mysteries of the sea as we recreate the mystery of the Marie Celeste. Our star, Mr. Van Heflin.
Hello, Harlow.
Goodbye, Hap.
Goodbye.
Sure, this is our last show till fall, Hap. Last chance to tell folks about switching to those inspiring, incomparable, and inevitable Autolite spark plugs. The spark plugs that are ignition engineered for the finest performance money can buy.
What are you going to do this summer, Harlow?
Keep an eye out for exasperated drivers with poorly performing cars, Hap. And then I'll say visit your Autolite spark plug dealer for a brisk brace of Autolite spark plugs, like the amazing Autolite resistor spark plugs, the double life spark plugs that make riding as smooth as a summer breeze.
So call Western Union by number and ask for our friend, Operator 25.
Yes, sir. Operator 25 will tell you the location of your nearest Autolite spark plug dealer. The man with ignition-engineered Autolite spark plugs, both standard and resistor type. And remember, from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite.
And now, Autolite presents The Mystery of the Marie Celeste, starring Mr. Van Heflin, hoping once again to keep you in suspense. On December 9th, 1872, the American brigantine Marie Celeste was discovered adrift and derelict close off the coast of North Africa. She had sustained some storm damage, but she was still an able ship. Her sails were set, her cargo was intact, conditions in her cabins and forecastle seemed normal. There was no evidence of violence. Yet, not a sign was found of the crew that had manned her. Officers, men, and the captain's wife had vanished, and no acceptable explanation of their disappearance has ever been advanced. But perhaps this is that story. It would start in New York City's Harbor District on the night of November 7th, 1872, the eve of the Marie Celeste's departure from that same harbor.
Who did this man kill? A young girl. And the man she was with. And then he killed the girl's mother. He's a maniac that we've got to get. I look down this way. I'll help if I can. All right. More men from the force will be here shortly.
I didn't remember killing her mother. Grace I killed because I couldn't help it. The man because he came after me when Grace was down, but I never meant to kill her mother. When I heard that I had, I wondered if the officer was right and that I was insane.
There wasn't time to think of it then. Only time to think of getting away. And through that night, I searched for a ship that was leaving soon. One that was badly guarded so I could slip aboard. When I found her, she was the Marie Celeste. The drunken deck watch stayed in his sleep until I was hidden in the number 2 hole. There I passed 2 days in a dream. Neither fully awake nor asleep, but always thinking of the horror I'd done. And I knew that escape was wrong. That I could never be sane until I cleared my soul of it. On the 3rd morning, I proceed to make my presence aboard known so that I can go to the captain and tell him of my crime and take the consequences I so richly deserve. I climb to the deck and am immediately seen by a crewman.
Hey, Lindley, look! Who's there? We've got to find out. Who are you, mister, and what are you doing aboard?
My name is Sam Newcomb, and I want to talk to your captain.
You'll talk to him right enough, whether you want to or not. How'd you get aboard?
You'll be lucky if you didn't stand the 12 to 4 watch here last night in port, because that's when it was.
You're uppity for a stowaway, aren't you? You're no better than a thief.
Well, I admit that. Look, I want no trouble with you. Please take me to your captain. I'll talk to him and no one else.
You take him, Bull. I'd better stay forward.
Yeah. Come on, Newcomb. If you're going to make the rest of the trip with us, you better drop your airs or there'll be trouble.
I don't have any airs. And I don't think you'll be trouble with my company.
Oh? You mean you don't think you'll quarter with the crew?
No.
You expect to be with the officers, like an honored guest?
No.
Where then?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, you act like you're daft.
Don't say that. I'll...
So what?
Nothing. I'm sorry. I want to talk to your captain.
You watch what you do and say, or you'll be over the side. Here.
Yes, come.
Watch your language. The skipper's wife is in the next cabin aft.
His wife?
Ah, who's this?
He just came out of number 2 hole, sir. His name is Sam Newcomb. Got aboard on the 12 to 4 watch hour last night in.
Hubbard's watch. He'll answer for it. Well, Newcomb, what do you have to say of yourself?
I'd like it if I could talk to you alone, sir.
That's all, Bull. Tell Hubbard I want to see him as soon as he's off watch.
Yes, sir.
Now, you realize, Newcomb, that you've committed a crime by boarding this ship without permission. And probably without passport or any other papers, I suppose.
I know, sir. But when I tell you why, I'm not a bad man, sir. Nothing like this has ever happened before, but something drove me. I didn't know what I was doing.
Another one who's always wanted to go to sea, I suppose.
No, sir. I've been sailing for 10 years. I'm an able hand. I came aboard because, I had to get away.
You were in trouble?
Yes, sir. I don't think it was my fault, but I am wrong.
What kind of trouble?
Well, there was a girl, sir, who I was in love with, and, I don't know what came over me, but...
Yeah? What'd you do to her?
I found her with another man, and, I just had to get away, sir.
A love-sick young calf, eh? Well, that doesn't condone...
Ben.
Oh, yes, my dear.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I heard you talking.
Yes, this is Mr. Newcomb. He came aboard illegally the night before we left.
Well, where has he been? It's 3 days.
In number 2 hole, ma'am.
Have you had food and water?
No, ma'am.
Well, why haven't you come to us before this?
I don't know, ma'am.
He was going to tell me why he came aboard.
I don't suppose it's important to anyone but me, but I felt that I had to get away, and...
It was a girl.
I almost guessed that. A broken heart?
I thought it was. I know it sounds silly, but to me it seemed awfully serious, and
couldn't think of another way to leave as quickly as I wanted to.
Well, there's no other way I can allow an affair of the heart to influence what I must do in this case. Now, by reputation, I'm a fair and lenient
I'm
man.
a seaman, sir. I could work my way.
I'm not so sure that you deserve the chance.
Whatever you say, sir.
Ben.
Now, please, Grace.
Great.
What's the matter with you?
Nothing, sir.
My name. Grace is the name of the girl.
Yes, ma'am. It was learning that the captain's wife was aboard that made me change my mind about telling him the truth. When I talked to him, especially after his wife came in, everything was turned about. It was though I was the captain and the stowaway was someone else. It was as though my wife, my Grace, had come in from the next cabin and together we talked to the stowaway. And we felt sorry for him and we wanted to be kind to him. The wife can't be more than 3 or 4 years older than I. And I feel close to her right away. I think that even if she doesn't know what I've done, she understands me. It's a good feeling to have one friend on the ship. Through her pleas, I'm sure I'm not restrained and instead sent to take my place with the crew in their forecastle. There I find no friends.
Well, what are you doing here? Couldn't you find a better place to quarter?
I was told where to come.
Hey, Hubbard. Wake up. Here's the one came aboard during your watch. What's your figure you'll be fined? A week's pay?
Yeah, that's right. Newcomb, huh?
Yes.
Why'd you come aboard?
Why, I wanted to get away from New York.
Man's got to have a better reason than that. You running away from the police?
No.
What then?
Well, it wouldn't interest you. It's not important.
It's important to me. And I want you to know how I feel about it. Are you going to get up?
No. I don't want any trouble with you.
You don't want no trouble. You caused me trouble, haven't you? I'll be called up in front of the captain because of you.
But that's done. There's no way I can change it.
We got 3 weeks before we make Naples. You'll pay for it. I'll see to that.
Through the following days, I knew no peace. There were 4 deckhands and a first officer. And although I had reason to fight because of the way they beat me and used me, I didn't. I was afraid of my own violence now that I'd killed. The one named Hubbard, he was the worst. His eyes were always on me. Now, I wondered why. There was a night when I woke to find him bending over my bunk. He was smiling. And from that moment on, even in sleep, I felt him watching me. On another night, I'm on deck. I'm crossing from the port to starboard. And when I pass under the mainyard, a marlin spike falls from aloft and sticks in the planks beside me, narrowly missing my head. I look up to see Hubbard smiling down at me from the rigging. I try to avoid him, but he drops to the deck to face me.
I dropped my spike.
Yes, I know you did.
What are you going to do about it?
Nothing.
You take more than any man I've ever known, Newcomb.
Well, I'm not proud of that. But why do you keep after me? Why don't you leave me alone?
Because I'm a curious man. I want to know truly why you're on this ship. Your story, the captain, about trouble with some woman just doesn't set right.
Well, no, that's the truth.
Not all of it.
Why do you say that?
Anybody ever tell you talk in your sleep?
Autolite is bringing you Mr. Van Heflin in The Mystery of the Marie Celeste. Tonight's presentation in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Well, Harlow, this is it.
It sure is, Hap. The Autolite resistor spark plug. The double life spark plug that's the greatest advance in spark plug design for automotive use in the past 25 years.
I didn't mean the resistor spark plug, Harlow. I meant this is our last meeting till fall. Too bad.
2 bad, 3 bad. No matter how many spark plugs are bad, get them all replaced with a set of sensational Autolite resistor spark plugs. The spark plugs that last twice as long and give smoother engine performance and really quick starts. And the Autolite resistor spark plug is only one of a complete line of Autolite spark plugs, ignition engineered for every use.
Is Operator 25 going on vacation too, Harlow?
No, sir, Hap. She'll be standing by to tell folks the location of their nearest Autolite spark plug dealer. Just call Western Union by number and ask for Operator 25. And remember, from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite.
And now, Autolite brings back to our Hollywood soundstage Mr. Van Heflin in Elliot Lewis's production of The Mystery of the Marie Celeste. A true report, well calculated to keep you in suspense.
I'd never been told that I talked in my sleep until the one named Hubbard said I did. He may have been lying, but I couldn't chance that. Therefore, I carefully abstained from regular sleeping habits, allowing myself short naps only when I knew that Hubbard was at the helm or some other ship's business that he couldn't leave. The horror of what I had done became a secret that pressed against my head, wanting escape. But I held it in, and I took the abuse of the men aboard. The only kindness and relaxation I find are during the moments when I chance to meet the captain's wife. Off watch one night, when it's not safe to sleep, I'm alone taking a cup of tea in the galley. When she comes in... Oh, Mrs. Briggs.
Why, Mr. Newcomb, I've been thinking of you. I haven't seen you. Well, you look ill. Is something wrong?
No, nothing, ma'am. My sleep hasn't been so good.
And your cheek is bruised. What happened?
Oh, it's nothing serious. Just some trouble with the other hands.
Have you told the captain?
No, ma'am.
Why not? I shall.
No, please don't. I've caused enough trouble. I wouldn't want there to be any more.
May I have some tea, Mr. Newcomb?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I think you're a very kind man, Mr. Newcomb.
You do?
Yes. To protect the other hands, for one thing. They're a rough lot, I know.
No worse than most men, ma'am.
You're very unhappy, aren't you? This girl, Grace, I know this is hard for you to understand, but really, no one girl is worth ruining your life for. Not even losing sleep over.
Yes, ma'am.
I wish you'd stop calling me ma'am. Perhaps if you did, you could talk to me about this girl. I think it'd do you good, don't you?
Well, I don't know.
Tell me about her. I'm sure she's quite beautiful.
Well, I thought so.
And you plan to be married?
Yes.
But she's changed her mind?
She was never sure. She was ambitious for me.
That's natural.
And I disappointed her like I did my family, my mother, everybody. I'm always thinking that I'm doing my best, but I always disappoint people.
What did she want you to be, this girl?
A ship's master, like your husband. We dreamed of the day when she could sail with me, like you do on this ship.
Well, you mustn't lose faith in yourself. It took my husband years to get his papers.
There are no years for me anymore.
She wouldn't wait?
No, she wouldn't wait. You must have waited, but she wouldn't.
Tell me. It'll be good for
She
you.
promised to wait, but she didn't.
She never understood that it took time. She was ambitious, and she pushed me for my officer's papers, and I failed. My family pushed me, too. But when I wasn't ready, they made me fail. And I went away, a 6-month trip to South America. I tried to jump overboard, and they stopped me, and then I got back and found her married to a ship's captain. Her mother was there, laughing at me. Well, I tried to tell them that I was happy about it. Then Grace smiled at me, and something happened.
Mr. Newcomb.
I was only going to kill her. I didn't even know that the others were there. Now, I hit her, and she went down, and then this man came after me, and I hit him, too. Well, when you get mixed up like that, you don't know what you're doing, and time means nothing, like everything else.
Mr. Newcomb.
Then her mother. Well, now, I don't remember that. But she's dead, too, and they blame me. Maybe I did. Mrs. Biggs, where are you going?
Stay away from me.
No, you've been nice to me. Why did it have to be you that I told every time? No, I like you. Why did it have to be you? No, I don't want to kill you. I never wanted to kill anybody.
Let me go.
No, I won't hurt you. You've been nice to me.
Stay away from me.
No, I won't touch you. But you've got to promise that you won't tell. I don't know why I said those things. They're not true. See, I get mixed up. I dream things, and then they seem real after I wake up. That's why I'm such a liar. I always lie. There's nothing that I told you was the truth. Do you believe that?
Yes.
And you won't tell anybody what I said.
I won't tell anyone.
No, I'm glad. Now, come, Mrs. Briggs, and finish your tea. Come on, we'll talk about something else.
No, I've got to go to my cabin.
Mrs. Briggs, don't tell. I knew she would tell. So I hid. I went back to the number 2 hole where I'd felt safe before. They found me there. I don't know how much time passed. I see their lantern as they come closer. The truth is out. There's no place for me to go. So I stand up and wait.
Captain, I hear him, I think. Yes, Albert. Keep the pistol ready. You have to be careful. Yes, sir. There he is, sir. Come out of there, Newcomb. Keep your lantern down, Hubbard. Keep us under the light. He's dangerous.
No, I won't cause any trouble, sir.
Get him off of there.
I won't cause any trouble.
It's all right, sir. He's down. A dirty little scum. Lock him up.
I'm not sure how many days passed, but I found comfort in being locked up because I could sleep without the fear of Hubbard leaning over me, listening for what I might say. Then there was one night when shouting on deck woke me up. I couldn't hear the words being in the middle of the ship. Soon the shouting stopped, and there was silence. It was a new silence that I studied for a long time. I heard no footsteps on the deck. I heard no voices. I heard no creaking timbers. It was a dead ship. I wait for the one daily meal that they allow me, and no one comes. And then I shout, "Let me out! Let me out of here! Somebody come and let me out!" If one were insane, he'd surely break at a moment like that. I was locked up and alone on a ship that was held motionless as if gripped by some great hand. But I didn't break. I dismantled my bunk, and from the wood fashioned a ram with which I attacked the door. The task of freeing myself consumed most of the day, and such was my concentration that I didn't realize the exact moment that the ship began moving, as if a great hand had released its grip and set her free. And I was free. I come out on deck to find a cloudless sky and empty sea horizons all around.
as if I'm alone in the world. The wheel spinning idly with no one to attend it. I lash it after fitting a new course to the sails she's wearing. The whole ship is mine. I am master and crew. I found peace and well-being, as if I'd been absolved of any wrongs I ever did. Because what, if not Providence, held the ship that night and sent the others to certain death in the endless sea? What if not kind Providence decided that I alone would survive? The meek and the humble shall inherit the earth. This narrative I swear to be true. And on this second day of December, the year of our Lord, 1872, I hereby sign it and seal it in a bottle to be delivered to the ocean's currents, in the hope that someday it'll drift back to the hated world from which I am forever parted.
According to scientific theory, a strange phenomenon takes place now and again off the coast of Africa near where the Marie Celeste was found. Great rivers of sand are swept out from the coastal deserts. When certain conditions prevail, this sand is concentrated by the ocean's currents. Millions of tons are massed until an island is born, lives briefly, and then is swept away by a shift in the currents that created it. One such island formed under a small ship during World War II, held it for a number of hours, then released it, much in the same manner that Sam Newcomb's Providence acted. A like occurrence could have caused the abandonment of the Marie Celeste, but no one knows. According to some reports, Sam Newcomb's signed confession did drift ashore many years later. If that is true, perhaps another of the many mysteries surrounding the Marie Celeste has been solved. That mystery was a short length of line that reportedly was found secured to the stern of the ship, close up under the transom where someone would hide. Attached to this line was a man's leather belt that had parted in the middle. Could Sam Newcomb have hidden there when the salvage crew was put aboard to sail the ship to Gibraltar? Could he have hung suspended there against the weakening belt until it parted and let him sink silently into the sea? Suspense, presented by Autolite. Tonight's star, Mr. Van Heflin.
This is Harlow Wilcox speaking for Autolite, world's largest independent manufacturer of automotive electrical equipment. Autolite is proud to serve the greatest names in the industry. They are members of the Autolite family, as well as are the 98,000 Autolite distributors and dealers in the United States and thousands more in Canada and throughout the world. Our family also includes the nearly 30,000 men and women in 28 great Autolite plants from coast to coast and Autolite plants in many foreign countries, as well as the 18,000 people who have invested a portion of their savings in Autolite. Every Autolite product is backed by constant research and precision built to the highest standards of quality and performance. So remember, from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite. And now I'd like to bring to the microphone a member of the Autolite family, the producer-director of Suspense, Mr. Elliott Lewis.
Tonight's Suspense program is the last for this season. Suspense on television will continue through the summer. Starting next week at this same time, CBS Radio will present a new series of true crime mysteries, crime classics by name, which I heartily recommend to be worth your listening until Suspense returns in September. And so until that time, all of us of the Autolite family thank you for your support and attention during this last season. We'll see you in September on
Suspense. Suspense is produced and directed by Elliott Lewis, with music composed by Lucien Morawick and conducted by Lud Gluskin. The Mystery of the Marie Celeste was adapted for Suspense by Gil Dowd. Featured in the cast were Joseph Kearns, Jeanette Nolan, Paul Frees, Dan O'Hurley, Hal Gerard, and William Conrad.
Van Heflin may currently be seen in Shane, a George Stevens production for Paramount.
You can buy Autolite resistor or standard type spark plugs, Autolite electrical parts, and Autolite stay full batteries at your neighborhood Autolite dealers. Switch to Autolite. Have a good summer. And good night.
This is the CBS Radio Network.
And now, stay tuned for the program that has rated tops in popularity for a longer period of time than any other West Coast program in radio history. The Signal Oil program, The Whistler, transcribed by the Signal Oil Company for New Year's, to enable the entire production staff of The Whistler to spend New Year's Day at home with their families.
F-I-T-N-A-L Signal gasoline.
Signal, the famous Go Farther gasoline, invites you to sit back and enjoy another strange story by The Whistler. For extra driving pleasure, the signal to look for is the yellow and black circle sign that identifies Signal service stations from Canada to Mexico. And for Sunday evening listening pleasure, the signal to listen for is this whistle that identifies the Signal Oil program, The Whistler.
I am the Whistler, and I know many things, for I walk by night. I know many strange tales hidden in the hearts of men and women who have stepped into the shadows. Yes, I know the nameless terrors of which they dare not speak.
And now for the Signal Oil Company, The Whistler's strange story. Evening Stroll.
Rumor, gossip, no matter how idly begun, may often come to a violent conclusion. Its pernicious content can twist and distort the mildest of deeds, until with a deadly force, fed and made strong by repetition, its weight can smash lives. The venom of rumor, gossip, is always around. Defense against it is pitifully inadequate, and no one is immune. Not even Professor Malcolm Dunn on New Year's Eve, strolling across the darkened campus, puffing quietly on his pipe. At the moment, he seemed pleased with the way things had turned out. The rather embarrassing session a few days ago with Dean Wilson was forgotten, and his thoughts were only of the future, his future at the university. At the library, he paused, debated for a moment if he should turn here and take the shortcut home. Perhaps it was because he wanted more time to be alone, more time to savor the prospects of a bright future, that he decided against the shortcut, even though it was getting late, and continued along the tree-lined street, entered the residential district of the university town.
Oh, Professor! Professor!
Oh, Miss Granville. Miss.
Hi. Mind if I walk along with you?
Of course not.
Isn't it a wonderful night?
Yeah.
Cool, crisp.
Mm-hmm.
Just think. In another few hours, a new year will be with us.
On your way to a little celebration?
I just left one. Horribly dull, really.
Oh?
I may not even go back. Jerry's in one of those moods again.
Jerry?
Jerry Hayes. He's just a friend. He took me to the party. We had words.
So you decided to take a walk?
That's right. Professor.
Yes?
I heard Dean Wilson had you in for a long talk the other day.
That's right, Midge.
About me?
About you.
I'm sorry I've caused you so much trouble. But I'm not sorry I ever fell in love with you.
Midge, I'm old enough to be your...
Oh, please don't say that.
But you don't understand.
Some things I do, Professor. For instance, this one-sided romance isn't any good. I've caused you nothing but trouble. I realize you can't afford to get mixed up with any of your students.
It isn't as though I've given you any encouragement. True, we've seen quite a bit of each other.
You've been very proper about the whole thing all along. It's my fault, all of it. I admit that. But I can't help it. I'm in love with you.
It's very flattering, Midge, but...
Still, you wish I weren't so obvious about the whole thing.
Well...
I've never once told anyone that you were in love with me.
I believe you, Midge. But don't you see, there are some people who take a thing like this, gossip it around. The rumors begin to spread. First thing, there's a nice scandal.
It's already started, hasn't it? I mean, that's why the dean wanted to talk to you.
I don't mind telling you that session with the dean was more than a little embarrassing.
I'm terribly sorry.
Well, it's all over now. I've explained everything to his satisfaction, I'm sure.
All this hasn't ruined everything for you, has it?
I
mean, you're taking over the history department when Professor Ferris leaves next month.
No, thank heaven. This new position is very important to me, Midge. To my wife, too. It means a great deal to both of us.
It means a lot to me, too. I hope I'm around when it happens.
What do you mean?
I'm leaving the university.
Oh, you are?
Yes. Going to New York. The call of the theater, you know. Father has a friend who's a producer. And, well, it'll be a small part to begin with.
I'm sorry you're going to leave us.
Are you? Really?
Of course. But I'm certain you'll become a very great actress someday.
Thank you. People say I'm acting all the time anyway. Well, here's my apartment house.
I'll see you to the door.
Oh, well, how do you like that? No key. I've locked myself out again.
Sure it isn't in your purse there?
Nope. Now, how am I going to get in? The house manager's at a party. Probably won't be home for hours.
Well, you just can't sit out here all night. Isn't there some way we
There is. My apartment's around back, on the ground floor. The screen on the bedroom window's loose. Trouble is, I'm not very good at climbing through windows. If somehow you... Oh, no, I couldn't ask you.
Well, when a lady's in distress...
Oh, thanks, Professor. We'll go in the front way here. The lobby door's always unlocked.
You follow Midge into the apartment house, down the long corridor, and out to the back of the building. With little effort, you manage to remove the screen from her bedroom window, climb over the sill, and drop into the darkened apartment.
Okay, Professor?
Right.
The light switch is in the alcove, straight ahead.
I'll find it.
You all right, Professor?
I guess so. You forgot to warn me about the coffee table.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll be right in.
You make your way slowly across the room and finally find the light switch. You open the hall door, return to the window, and replace the screen as Midge steps into the apartment and closes the door behind her.
You're a lifesaver, Professor. Hurt yourself on the coffee table?
Fractured a few bones, that's all.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, and look, you've got dust all over your coat.
No harm done.
Oh, I wouldn't be too sure. Looks like a stain of some sort. Why don't you take your coat off, Professor? I'll get some cleaning fluid.
Oh, don't bother,
Midge.
Midge.
No bother, really. It'll only take a minute.
Well, all right.
There we are.
Just drop it on the chair there.
Okay.
Oh, now what? Excuse me a moment, Professor.
Hello, Midge.
Oh, Jerry.
I'm sorry I acted the way I did, Midge. I guess you had every right to walk out on me. Oh, I see you have company.
Yes. Now, can't we discuss what happened at the party some other time, Jerry?
Sure we can. Guess maybe I wasn't so wrong after all, huh? Maybe those rumors...
Jerry, please.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night, Midge. Good night, Professor Dunn.
Oh, I'm sorry, Professor, but Jerry, he's such a child.
Midge, that quarrel you had with Jerry at the party tonight, have anything to do with me?
Well, yes, in a way.
Look, he seems like a nice sort of chap. Why don't you call him back?
No, I'll see him tomorrow. Now, do sit down, Professor.
Midge.
Yes?
Mind telling me something? Did you really lock yourself out tonight?
What do you think, Professor?
I think I'd better be running along. Good morning, Mrs. Dunn.
Oh, morning, Malcolm. Breakfast will be ready in a moment.
Fine. Say, I must have been asleep when you came in last night, Claire. How was the party?
Oh, very nice. The Donaldsons were so disappointed you didn't come, but I explained you just couldn't.
Good.
You go to bed early?
No. I worked for a few hours. Then I went out for a walk. A long walk. By the way, Mrs. Dunn, how about a kiss for a Happy New Year for your husband,
A Happy New Year to you, Professor. Now you sit down. Read your paper. Oh, Malcolm.
Yes?
Isn't Midge Crandall one of your students?
Why, yes. She is.
Her picture's there on the front page.
What? Why, so it is.
Someone shot her last night at her apartment.
Shot her?
Yes, they're taking her to the hospital. They don't know if she'll live or not.
Because this is New Year's Day, Signal Oil Company has asked me to skip the regular message about Signal gasoline in order to bring you a few extra chuckles with these limericks. Mrs. Don Bonaquista of Phoenix, Arizona, will start her new year with a $20 Signal gasoline book for this limerick. Like the man on the flying trapeze, you can drive with the greatest of ease. If you'll only be smart and right from the start, say, fill it with Signal gas, please.
Signal gasoline. Your car will go far with no other gasoline.
Tonight's second $20 Signal gasoline book goes to Mrs. Rod Doobie of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, for this limerick. A man with a love for smooth driving found his car needed reviving. He tried Signal gas, and now he can pass all road tests without even striving.
Signal gasoline. Your car will go far with no other gasoline.
We regret that we couldn't start the new year for all of you with a $20 Signal gasoline book, but we do hope that happy, safe driving will fill your new year with miles of smiles.
It's a shock, isn't it, Professor? Your hands tremble as you hold the morning newspaper. Stare down at the photograph of Midge Crandall on the front page. The story is all there. The shooting at her apartment. And as you read through the first few paragraphs, You realize it must have happened only a short time after you left the girl's apartment. Your first impulse is to pick up the phone and call the police. Tell them you were with Midge Crandall last night at her apartment. But suddenly you realize it won't help the police find the guilty person. It would only involve you as well as other innocent people needlessly. And after your conversation with Dean Wilson a few days ago concerning Midge, the gossip about the two of you, you know you can't afford to become involved in the shooting. Somehow you manage to get through breakfast, and then afterward you leave the house and go for a long walk. You need time to think, don't you? Perhaps in some way you can assist the police and help them find out who shot Midge. Then as you're strolling along the walk in front of the science building, one of the students joins you.
Say, Professor, hear about the shooting last night?
Yes, I heard about it, Bill.
Sure knocked me for a loop. I know Midge pretty well. She's a nice kid. Tough. It's a real tough break.
Yes, it is.
Too bad that Simpson guy didn't get a better look at the man who was with Midge.
The Simpson? Who?
The witness. He was sitting in a parked car right across the street from Midge's apartment, waiting for somebody. He told police he remembered seeing a man going into the building with Midge.
I see.
I didn't give much of a description of the guy. Medium build, slender, well-dressed. Said he might recognize him if he saw him again, though. Well, here's where I turn off, Professor. See ya.
Yes. Yes, of course, Bill.
Happy New Year, Professor. Hey, Jerry, wait up, fella.
Jerry. The sound of that name spins you around, doesn't it, Professor? You watch Bill join another youngster. See them hurry across the campus toward the village. But he isn't the Jerry you're thinking of, is he? Suddenly you remember the young man who was at the door of Midge's apartment last night. Jerry Hayes, the young man who saw you there with Midge. And you wonder why he hasn't been to the police to tell them about it.
Hello?
May I speak with Jerry Hayes, please?
Yeah, just a sec. Hey, you guys. Pipe down, will you? I can't hear a thing. Oh, what was that again?
Is Jerry Hayes there?
Oh, yeah, sure. Hold on. Hey, Sheriff, for you. Who is it? It's me. Hello?
Jerry, this is Professor Dunn.
Oh. Hello?
I'd like to talk to you, Jerry.
I figured you would.
Where could we meet?
Place you say.
The path at the far end of the athletic field in 10 minutes. Is that all right?
Okay.
It's a good question, Professor. Why didn't I go to the cops, huh? Suppose I ask you the same.
Listen, Jerry.
Sort of an embarrassing question, isn't it?
Why haven't you told them that I was there in the apartment?
Why haven't you? Something holding you back? Sure. And I know just what it is.
Do you?
Look, Professor, I don't want to get mixed up in this any more than you do. Why not forget about it?
Suppose Midge dies.
It wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be good at all. But we'd keep our mouths shut. I didn't see you. You didn't see me.
I don't know, Jerry. I don't think that'd be right.
I don't think there's anything for you to worry about, Professor. According to the newspapers, the police haven't found any clear prints on the gun.
Is that you, Malcolm?
Yes, Claire.
That was quite a walk you took. I'm glad you're back home, Malcolm. There was a call for you.
Oh?
Dean Wilson's housekeeper called. Said to tell you he wanted you to come over.
Now?
Well, she sounded like it was rather important.
I see.
Come in, Professor Dunn, come in.
Thank you, Mrs. Stroll.
The dean is in his study. I'm sure he'll see you in a few minutes. The lieutenant shouldn't be with him much longer.
The lieutenant?
Yes, Lieutenant Franklin, police department. They're in there with Mr. Simpson.
Simpson? He's the man who...
The witness. Police think the man Mr. Simpson saw last night might be the one who tried to kill Midge Crandall. Oh, isn't it terrible, Professor? That poor girl. I understand she's still in a coma.
And thank you very much, Dean Wilson. Sorry we had to take up so much of your time.
Quite all right, Lieutenant.
Can't overlook anything, you know. Don't have very much to go on. Simpson here and I'll sort of roam around, if you don't mind.
Of course not.
With luck, we might spot our man.
Quickly, you turn your back to them, Professor. Stare out the window. You want to run, don't you? But your legs refuse to act. And you pray that Simpson doesn't notice you.
Well, thanks again, sir.
Goodbye, Lieutenant.
Now, let's go, Simpson.
Oh, and there you are, Malcolm.
Afternoon, sir.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
I just got here a moment ago.
Come in. Terrible business, that. Terrible. You heard, Malcolm? I think the man who shot Miss Crandall is here, on our campus.
Yes, I heard. Any definite leads?
No. Unfortunately, the witness Simpson hasn't been able to give a good description of the man he saw go into the apartment building with the girl.
Does Mr. Simpson think he can identify the man if he sees him again?
He seems to think so, yes. I, for one, certainly hope he's right. This thing must be solved, Malcolm. They've got to find that man.
Yes, of course.
Well, let's get on with it. I want to discuss several matters with you, Malcolm, about your new position. Hope you don't mind my calling you over today.
Oh, of course not.
Professor Ferris will be leaving earlier than we expected. So it's important we get to these things as soon as possible.
Yes, sir.
For the remainder of the afternoon, you sit with Dean Wilson in his study. He's talking about your new position with the university. But your mind isn't on it, Professor. You keep thinking about the police lieutenant and the witness, Simpson. They're on the campus now, looking for the man who was with Midge Crandall last night. And you wonder how long you'll be able to stay out of their way. Finally, when you leave the dean, your mind is made up. You've reached a decision, haven't you? Yes. And there's only one thing you can do.
Yeah, what? Oh, hello, Professor. Come on in.
No, thanks. I just stopped by to see if Jerry Hayes was in.
Oh, no, he's down in the village. Ought to be back soon.
I see. Will you tell him I must see him immediately? It's very important.
Oh, sure, Professor.
Have him come to my house, 423 Oak Road.
Okay, I'll tell him.
You've made up your mind, haven't you, Professor? Hiding from the police isn't going to solve anything. Instead of helping them, you're wasting valuable time, throwing them off the track, while the guilty person remains at large. At your home, as you wait for Jerry to arrive, the nervousness has gradually left you, hasn't it? You're strangely calm, ready to face whatever happens. Then, as a battered convertible stops in front of your house and Jerry steps out, you dial police headquarters and ask for Lieutenant Franklin.
Yes, Professor Dunn?
Lieutenant, I have some information. It's about the Midge Crandall shooting.
Oh?
Would you come to my house right away? 423 Oak Road.
All right. I'll be there, Professor.
Malcolm,
Oh, yes, Claire. What is it?
did I hear you just call the police?
That's right.
You said something about Midge Crandall.
Excuse me. That's Jerry Hayes. I'll let him in.
Malcolm, what's this all about?
I'll explain in a moment, Claire.
How are you, Professor?
Come in, Jerry.
Hello, Mrs. Dunn.
How are you, Jerry? How's Janet? I haven't seen her in ages.
Oh, she's fine.
Janet?
Jerry's aunt is an old school chum of mine, Malcolm.
Never would have gotten into the university here if it hadn't been for the two of them, Professor. Guess I owe Janet and Mrs. Dunn a lot.
I see.
Now, Malcolm, what's this all about?
Yeah, what's up, Professor?
Jerry, I've called the police. They may not believe I had nothing to do with the shooting, but...
The police? Wait a minute, I thought we...
It's no use, Jeff. I want you to tell them all you know about this Midge Crandall affair.
Even that I saw your wife there?
What?
That's right, dear.
You mean you want me to tell the police I saw Mrs. Dunn come running out of Midge's apartment house last night?
Claire.
I admit it, Malcolm. I was there. I was the one.
New Year's Day is an appropriate day to take stock of one's blessings. So we of the Signal Oil Organization would like to take this opportunity to express our appreciation to all of you who have given us so much for which to be thankful. To you loyal Whistler fans whose continued preference for Signal products has helped us grow from a small start in one state into an organization serving 6 western states, we are genuinely grateful. To independent Signal dealers whose conscientious service has helped so much to keep customers and their cars happy, we are mighty appreciative. So that all of us in the Signal Oil family may continue to merit your friendship and your business, you can count on us to pursue our policy of making every Signal product and Signal service always finer and more complete. Throughout the new year, as for the past 19 years, we shall do everything in our power to make your stops at Signal stations, as well as your miles behind the wheel, happy ones.
It came as a staggering blow, didn't it, Professor? Your wife's admission that she had shot Midge Crandall. Yes, you'd been afraid to get in touch with the police because it meant admitting that you had been there in the apartment yourself. And you knew it would start the gossip again and involve other innocent people. Yet finally you decided to face the consequences. Tell the police that you were the man the witness Simpson had seen. So you'd call Lieutenant Franklin, asked him to come to your house. Then too late you learned that your wife, Claire, had shot Midge.
You've got to believe me, Malcolm. I swear I didn't mean to do it.
Claire, why did you go over there?
I'd heard talk about you and Midge. I just had to see her. But she admitted it was all wrong, her fault, but she'd been very foolish.
Yes, but...
She kept telling me how much she loved you, and yet she couldn't have you. And then she picked up the gun. Malcolm, I didn't know what to do. The way she acted, I suddenly got the crazy idea she was going to kill herself.
Oh, Claire, you don't know Midge. She was putting on an act.
I had to stop her. And when I tried to take the gun away, it went off. Oh, Malcolm, I didn't mean for her to get shot. I wouldn't have harmed that girl for the world.
But you ran. You left her.
I got outside the door of the apartment before I realized she might die if I didn't do something. And then I heard someone running down the hall. I knew the shot had attracted attention. So she'd be found immediately. Malcolm, and the police.
Look, Mrs. Dunn, they don't know you were there. You didn't mean to shoot Midge. We don't have to tell them a thing.
Wait a minute.
Jerry supposed Midge died. No, you'd better let the police in, Malcolm.
Good evening, Professor.
Come in, Lieutenant. Lieutenant, my wife, Jerry Hayes.
How do you do? Now, Professor, you said over the phone something about the...
Yes. Jerry here saw a woman hurry out of Miss Crandall's apartment house last night.
A woman, eh? Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So he saw a woman, and Simpson saw a man.
But, Lieutenant...
A lot of people went in and out of that building last night, but it doesn't mean a thing.
What?
Miss Crandall came out of her coma a few minutes ago. She's going to be all right.
Oh, that's great. She's a wonderful girl.
Yeah, she was worried for fear we'd think one of her boyfriends had done it. Actually, it was just another one of those I didn't know the gun was loaded cases. Miss Crandall told us she shot herself by accident.
Let that whistle be your signal for the Signal Oil program, The Whistler, each Sunday night at this same time. Brought to you by the Signal Oil Company, marketers of Signal gasoline and motor oil, and fine automotive accessories. Remember, if you would like the fun of having your friends hear a limerick of yours on The Whistler, the address to which to send it is the Signal Oil Company, Los Angeles 55, California. All limericks become the property of the Signal Oil Company. Those selected for use on The Whistler will be chosen by our advertising representatives on the basis of humor, suitability, and originality. So, of course, they must be your own composition. Featured in tonight's transcribed story were Donald Woods, Barbara Eiler, Mary Lansing, and Gil Stratton, Jr. The Whistler was produced and directed by George W. Allen, with story by Steve Hampton, music by Wilbur Hatch, and was transmitted to our troops overseas by the Armed Forces Radio Service. The Whistler is entirely fictional, and all characters portrayed on The Whistler are also fictional. Any similarity of names or resemblance to persons living or dead is purely coincidental. Remember at the same time next Sunday, another strange tale by The Whistler.
S-I-G-N-A-L Signal gasoline.
And now again, on behalf of Signal Oil Company and the independent dealers who serve you, I want to express the hope that you have enjoyed your holidays and that your new year will be filled with peace, prosperity, and the good health with which to enjoy the many blessings in the good old USA. Marvin Miller speaking for the Signal Oil Company.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
America was not yet at war, and the air in Washington was summer pleasant. But neither Katharine Hepburn nor her supporting cast nor I thought of pleasantries in those days. We were there to try and convince a handful of congressmen to permit refugees to enter our country, very small refugees, baby refugees who would be in the path of the German blitzkrieg. We did the broadcast, and happily our immigration door opened a small blessed crack, and some very small blessed children escaped Hitler and company.
Innocent children caught in a whirlpool of inhuman hatred. Children ostracized, excluded from schools and public places, threatened with physical harm, forbidden the simplest requirements of spiritual survival. Surely our American sympathies go to the most pitiful and helpless sufferers. America must do its share in offering refuge to some of these children as a token of our sympathy and as a symbol of our faith in the ideals of human brotherhood.
Miss Katharine Hepburn in another original drama. Its title, Miss American.
The scene, a great luxury liner returning from Europe to America. It is late at night. A girl stands on the boat deck looking out into the darkness, her face to the wind that lifts whitecaps on the tumbling sea. Suddenly, an older woman approaches and speaks.
Well, Ronnie, I must say this is a peculiar way to behave.
What did you say, Aunt Mary?
I said it distinctly and you heard me. Do you realize that people have been asking about you?
Have they?
Oh, Ronnie, do come downstairs. Standing up here in the cold.
Please, I'm all right.
Oh, Ronnie, what is the matter with you?
4 people.
People? Oh, that. Well, after all, my dear, there are always a certain number of undesirables on board a ship this size. And if you'd only stop wandering up and down the second and third classes, you'd find everything quite right and proper. Right and proper? As for the children, I spoke to the captain about them. Did you? Staring at us every time we walked the deck. I told the captain exactly how we felt about the matter. We? The things we talked about this morning. Oh, yes, I remember. I should think you would. You were quite definite in your opinion. And, of course, I agree with you. They've no right to take such young children and bring them to New York to heaven knows what. But you know the captain. That little charming smile, and he changed the subject, and, oh, what difference does it really make? We'll be ducking in the morning and away from all this. Aunt Mary, there's something I want to tell you. No, tell me later, my dear. Right now, the thing for you to do is to go down, get dressed, and join the others just as quickly as you can. Come now. No. I want to stay here. Why, Ronnie. Please. A few moments longer. I'll come down. Ronnie, I've never known you... Well, very well. Have your silly little mood. But I don't understand what it's all about, mooning up here in the dark like a romantic 16-year-old. All I say is hurry downstairs. We'll be waiting for you. Romantic. Yes, it is romantic. I'm in love with... If she knew... In love with... Yes. Love at 23rd sight with...
America.
That's a childish thought to have.
Patriotic, Pap.
Of course it is. Of course. Getting softening of the brain. Thinking silly things. Over-emotionalized. Ought to go below and join the party. Stop standing here thinking to myself.
America.
No, why shouldn't I think it out? How did it start? The things we talked about this morning. Yes, Aunt Mary did say that. The things we talked about this morning. Those children.
Always staring at us.
Why bring them over?
Full of foreign ideas. Always staring.
Not like us. Foreigners. Not like us. Not like us. I said that, I remember. Not like us. Not like us. Not like me. Not like me. Resented their being on board. What happened? Oh, let me remember. I went walking on the lower deck. They were sitting there as usual.
The four of them.
Yes, the four of them. Sitting in a row. White faces, staring eyes, looking at me. At me. I couldn't stand it. What did I say? Yes, I said... You, children, don't you know it's bad manners to stare at people? For a moment, no answer. 3 little boys, 1 little girl. Their staring eyes. Why should they stare at me? I said, answer me, one of you. If you're coming to America, heaven knows why, at least they should have taught you some English. They didn't move. 4 rigid little figures. And then...
We all speak English.
Well, at last, the Saint speaks.
No, that is not my name.
He said that. Then he closed his mouth. And the 4 of them were sitting there once again. Those eyes of theirs, staring. I said, what are you sitting there for? I've been watching you all through the trip. You sit there in those deck chairs hour after hour. What are you waiting for?
America.
She said that, the little one. And then she closed her mouth so tightly I could see the muscles of the corners of her lips. She sat there tense, frightened. Not another sound from any of them, their eyes beyond me, on the sea, on the horizon. I said, all right, you're waiting for us to reach land. But what's that got to do with the 4 of you getting up, running around, having fun? Come on. Don't you know how to laugh? Do you know how?
Then we are in America. Then we will laugh.
So that's it. You don't like the sea. You're waiting for the land.
No, we are waiting for America.
Waiting for America?
What silly nonsense were these children thinking? Couldn't laugh until America. I thought to myself, how silly. Proves these children strangers, aliens, foreign to our thoughts. Aloud, I said, listen, the four of you. Are you trying to rid me in your infant continental manner? If you're waiting until you land, until you laugh, I'm warning you, you better start laughing now. Isn't much to laugh about there, let me assure you. The dullest, dumbest place on earth. Why do you think I went abroad? Laugh in America. Don't make me laugh. Got depressions and recessions and concessions and while I was talking, the children's faces grew angrier and angrier, their eyes larger and larger, hating me for what I was saying. Angrier and angrier. At last, one of them cried out,
No, wait.
Wait?
Miss American, wait. What you say, it is not right.
What's not right?
All these things you say of America. I do not understand. I do not know. But this I know. It is not right.
No, that is not right. No, wait a moment. And what is right, Herr Professor?
America is good. And it's a good place. Because, yeah, you say it. Because in America, all men are
created equal.
Yeah, and they are endowed by their creator with the right of life, on liberty, on the sort of happiness.
Bravo! Right out of the old Declaration of Independence. So where did you learn that? And what does it mean?
Young teacher. Yeah, yes. Here on the boat, they gave me a book. I read. How you say it, Miss American. I teach.
You teach? You? And what you teach, all that about life and liberty. What can it possibly mean to poor children like you?
Maybe I do not understand everything you say, Miss American. But what we learn, it means that no matter what is wrong in America, it can be fixed. We are free and equal, and we can work and help America.
Help America? When he said that, I didn't have anything more to say. Nothing cute or bright or clever. 4 little children. I stood in front of them. Suddenly, I wanted to say so many things to them, but my throat, I couldn't. I couldn't until one of them said,
Please, Miss American, what the book say about America? It is all right.
Right.
Tell us of it, Miss American.
Pity.
America. It's very large and very beautiful. And all the people in it, or their fathers, or their fathers' fathers, came over the water to it, just the way you're doing. And there's a bigness to it, and a braveness to it. And you need never be afraid. And no matter what goes wrong there's always hope, as long as there's someone like you to remind the rest of us that the American way is the human way. That's what I said to them. Yes. And they came close to me and touched my hand. And they smiled at each other and at me. And so I'm in love. Yes, in love. With my country. For remembering 4 little people who want to help us.
now, ladies and gentlemen, we bring this program starring Katharine Hepburn to a close. The broadcast was especially written for this occasion by Arch Oboler. The cast included Betty Kane, Jackie Grimes, May Grimes, Jackie Kelp, Adelaide Klein, Ed Latimer, Bobby Reddick, and George Wallach. And speaking, Raymond Edward Johnson. The music was composed by Leith Stevens, who conducted the orchestra.
This is Orson Welles, speaking from London. The Black Museum. Here, in the grim stone structure on the Thames which houses Scotland Yard, is a warehouse of homicide. A warehouse where everyday objects, a piece of wash line, a medicine bottle, an electric light bulb, all are touched by murder. There's a telegram. It's a familiar object. Usually it says happy birthday or congratulations on your wedding or will arrive 10 o'clock train. This telegram was an urgent request to die.
Take this telegram, miss, please.
Yes, sir. Daily Star. Come at once. 4:30 train, Waterloo, Bournemouth Central. Something will meet. Sorry, sir. What is this?
Car will meet.
Today, this telegram can be seen in the Black Museum.
From the annals of the Criminal Investigation Department of the London Police, we bring you the dramatic stories of the crimes recorded by the objects in Scotland Yard's Gallery of Death, the Black Museum.
Scotland Yard's mausoleum of murder. Here lies death, arranged on shelves, in cabinets, ranked along the floor and on the tables. Death in many disguises. This oil lamp. This one was found in time. There were others before it in other places, part of a baited trap. A house cat leaped, knocking over the lamp. Flames flared. Arson. When somebody dies in such a fire, arson becomes the murderer. Here's a bit of ribbon from a Christmas package. Shining, tinseled ribbon. The gift, unwrapped in pleasant anticipation, was death. A telegram. Here we are. It's a slip of yellow paper with familiar type pasted in stripes across its face. Urgent, a summons. One day this wire rested in a closed handbag on a woman's lap. She was riding on a train in response to the wire. The men sharing the seat with her smiled and started a conversation.
Going all the way to Bournemouth?
No, I'm getting off at Boscombe.
Oh.
This train does stop at Boscombe, doesn't it?
Well, I believe it does. I'm going through to Bournemouth myself, so I didn't pay particular attention.
Your holidays?
Well, in a way, I'm taking a day off to see some friends, and I'm going back to Southampton to catch a ship for a business trip.
It must be nice to have a life like that.
Oh, I don't know.
Mine's very dull.
Oh, well, then my guess is that, like some of the ladies I know, you find your gaiety in your hats.
My one extravagance.
Oh, yes.
I've always liked a pretty hat.
Just chit-chat on a train speeding southward from London. The gentleman contributed no information about his business. The lady didn't give her name. She did, however, volunteer.
I'm going down to Boscombe to cook for some people. That's what I do, cook.
And the time passed. Others entered the compartment of the train at various stops and left a little later, but that was all. And as the train slowed for Boscombe.
Here, let me, miss. That bag looks heavy. I'll get it down for you.
Oh, please don't trouble, sir.
Oh, this is no trouble at all. There we are. Well, it's been pleasant chatting with you. Well, good luck on your new job.
And thank you, sir. And good luck on your trip.
Thank you, miss. Beg pardon, miss. Are you the new cook for the Eagans of Woodmere House?
Yes, I am.
Ah, then this way, please. Mrs. Egan told me to watch for you. I'm their chauffeur. I have the car. It's a fair way out, you see.
Oh, yes, the telegram said the car would meet me. Is it nice working for the Eagans?
She put her luggage in the back of the big limousine, stepped into the front seat next to the chauffeur. The train pulled out of the Boscombe station just as the car moved away along the road. Apparently it was a fair ways out, as the chauffeur had put it. The road wound through the countryside. The land seemed to grow more and more bleak as they rode along. The sun dropped below the horizon. The young woman began to feel a little edgy.
Is it much further? Seems to be getting dark.
It not only seems to be getting dark, my girl, it is getting dark.
You never told me if it's nice working out here.
You won't have any trouble if you're nice, that is.
If I'm nice?
I've got the master's and mistress's ears. What I say usually goes. Anyone who's not nice to me goes.
I don't understand.
You've worked before, haven't you?
Well, yes, of course. I have the very best of references.
In most places, it's the butler, isn't it? Out here, it's me.
I don't understand. Why have you left the road?
Because, my girl, I took you out this way for reasons of my own.
No, I came out here for a job. As cook,
Forget that. Come here.
No, let go of me. Oh, no, it can't. It can't happen to me. Not to me. It's someone else.
It's no one else. It's you, understand? Now be good. Be quiet.
That was all, till the next morning. A farmer cutting across the empty fields found that they were not quite as empty as he'd supposed.
Here, what's this? You sleeping, miss? She's dead. Or this be for the police.
The farmer made it as fast as he could to the nearest telephone, and within an hour the police had arrived.
Very well now. Suppose you repeat your story, sir.
You're Inspector Gardner. Well, they told me...
Yes, I'm Gardner, Scotland Yard. Go ahead.
Well, I was cutting across the field to save a few steps, like, and I come on her, lying like that. I went for help. That's all, sir.
You didn't touch anything? You didn't mess up the ground?
Oh, no, sir, nothing like that.
All right. Give the constable your name and address.
Yes.
We'll call you if we need you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
What do you make of it, Martin?
One of those things, Inspector. Murder by person unknown. After a bit of a struggle, it looks like.
Yes, ground's pretty well trampled. Any idea of the time of death?
Medical examiner can't say yet, sir. My guess is sometime after 7 o'clock last night. The rain stopped around 6:30. She's not even damp, sir.
Very good. I judge from the tire tracks we'll get the make of tires and the size of the car easily enough.
Yes, sir.
You have her handbag?
Yes, right here, sir.
Yes. Well, she had an identity card. Ida Matthews, Streatham, London. We can check that quickly enough. Hello? It's a telegram. Daily Star. Come at once. 4:30 train, Waterloo, Bournemouth Central. Car will meet you. Expenses paid. Egan, Woodmere House, Boscombe. Yes, I've seen this sort of thing before. What are the odds, Martin? There is no Woodmere House nor any Egan hereabouts.
The odds were high. The inspector was right. No Woodmere House and no Egan. But the telegram was a lead, not an important lead, but a thread to start on. Not very many post offices in Boscombe, and you send telegrams from post offices in England. Detective Martin had an assignment.
I'm sorry to bother you, but was this wire filed at this office?
Not at that office. No. Nor at the next one. But the one after that.
Yes, that's one of ours.
May I see the original of the wire, please?
Well, now, I don't know that I should...
Scotland Yard, miss. My credentials.
Oh, well, that makes it proper then.
And since it was proper Detective Martin returned to his superior with the original of the wire.
Did you ever see such atrocious handwriting, Inspector?
I can't say I ever have. Party can't spell either. No E in Bournemouth and expenses with a C in place of an S. Interesting. Martin, this will be a long job. Check through Central Post Office and go out the Bournemouth area yourself. Get the originals of every wire over the past 6 months that have had bad handwriting and worse spelling. It's a long charge.
Patience and routine, the two great strengths of the forces of law and order, and they pay off. Sometimes it takes months, sometimes only weeks. This time, it was 2 weeks. A triumphant Detective Martin returned to Inspector Gardner.
We've got 2 more wires, sir.
Good work, Martin.
Here, sir. Notice this first one. To the Dandre woman. No E in Bournemouth. C in expense, and a new error. 2 F's in if. This one to the domestic agency. Someone wanted a young, pleasant nurse. Without an A in pleasant. And again, the E is missing in Bournemouth.
The writing's identical, no question about it. Put some calls through, Martin. I wonder if the Dandre woman or the young, pleasant nurse ever came down this way.
That check was an easy one, no trouble at all.
The Dandre woman came down, no car, she went back.
A lucky lady, that one, apparently. The employment agency was a bit more careful.
The agency wrote to the return address for more information. Name and address were fictitious, of course.
Of course. All right, Martin. Back to the Boscombe post office. Jog a few memories, will you?
I see, miss. You filed this wire.
I did. We get a lot of business through you, but I remember that awful handwriting.
Do you remember anything about the person who gave it to you?
Well, it was a man. I know that.
Good. That's something.
There was a... Let me think. No, it's all blank.
Now, don't try too hard, miss. It'll come back to you. Here, let me read you the wire. Daily Star, come at once. 4:30 train, Waterloo, Bournemouth Central. And something here I can't quite make out.
That's it. Car will meet. I asked him the same question. And he repeated the words like that. Car will meet. I'd know his voice anywhere.
Why?
Well, it was that kind of voice. Smooth, too soft. Sent shivers over me.
Do you remember the man at all?
No, sir. You know how it is. Don't look at all the people who come in here. But I think, I'm not positive, but I think he had on a chauffeur's uniform.
Patience and routine were bringing results. From nothing, except Ida Matthews' body, they built their evidence to a man in a chauffeur's uniform who couldn't spell. And from the tire tracks, they knew the make of tires and the length and width, and therefore the make of the car. Within hours now, every chauffeur in the vicinity who drove a large sedan of a certain make had been called into the police station.
No, sir. On the evening of November the 11th, I was in London, sir, with my family. We lost a boy in the war, Inspector, and the whole family always gets together on Armistice night for that reason, sir.
November the 11th, Inspector? Oh, I was off that night. I didn't have the car. No, the young master was permitted to drive it himself that night, seeing as I was having my regular night off.
I picked up the old man, Mr. Dutton, at his regular train, drove him home, put the car away and locked it up.
Did you have your own key to the garage?
No, sir. I always turn it into the big house after I put the car away. That's what I did that night, sir.
And after that, Mitchell?
I went into Bournemouth on the bus, sir. Had a bite and went to the cinema.
You seem to remember all that very well. It was over a month ago the case we're investigating happened.
Oh, I've got a great memory.
Well, how is it on spelling?
I wouldn't know. I never tested it.
Let's test it right now. Take this pad and pencil and write the words I asked you. Now, I know you, Martin. We shouldn't have let the newspapers publish those wires. Not one of these chaps spells those words wrong, and their handwriting doesn't match. Nothing.
Yes, it's too bad, Inspector, to draw a blank when it looked so good for a bit.
That's about it, Martin. For once, we've drawn a blank completely.
But that was not to be the end. Fate was to play a hand, and one of the strongest cards in that hand turned out to be the telegram. Oh, yes, this same telegram that can be seen today in the Black Museum.
Orson Welles will be back with you in just a moment. And now we continue with The Black Museum, starring Orson Welles.
They'd drawn a blank. The carefully built-up points which should have led to a vicious killer led nowhere. The pitiful and tragic story of Ida Matthews seemed headed directly for the unsolved file at Scotland Yard. How to account for what happened next? Chance? Stupidity? The intelligence to capitalize on a tiny fact? It really doesn't matter. What does matter is that one morning at the post office in Boscombe.
How many stamps for this package, miss?
I'll just put it on the scale.
Take care now. It's marked fragile, you can see that.
I see it. It'll be 1 and 3.
Right you are. Thank you, miss.
Jimmy, quick. Please, where's he going?
Say, Marge?
The fellow in the chauffeur's suit. Where's he going? Get to the window. I can't leave the cage. Quick.
He's getting into a car. Big grey sedan.
Get the number.
Whatever for?
Get it.
Wait, LK9054. What do you want it for? Ex-husband owes you alimony, eh?
Don't be ridiculous. That's the man who sent the telegram. The one the coppers were so interested in. I'd know his voice anywhere. Yeah, you take over.
Okay.
I'm going to telephone that nasty detective.
A chance. A coincidence. The young man might have taken that package. The girl might have forgotten the voice. Neither of these things happened. And a new lead was developed for the yard.
Mitchell drives that car, Inspector. John Mitchell. Owner is Dutton.
We had Mitchell in. His writing doesn't match and his spelling's fine.
Well, the girl swears he's the man.
Martin, can you picture a British jury hanging a man because a girl remembered his voice? No, such things aren't happening.
But the points were added to the Ida Matthews file and held, waiting their use. Patience and more patience. And more results.
Inspector Gardner speaking.
This is Sidney Harris. I'm told, sir, that I ought to give my information to you. It's on the Matthews case, sir. You see, I rode down to Boscombe on the train with her.
Sidney Harris received a warm welcome at Scotland Yard.
Sit down, Mr. Harris.
Thank you.
If I may ask, what took you so long?
I was out of the country, Inspector. I returned just yesterday.
Oh, go on, Mr. Harris.
Well, you see, my business takes me abroad quite a bit. I had the opportunity to spend a night with some friends of mine in Bournemouth before I sailed the next day. That's how it happened, as I was on the train. The Matthews woman was in my compartment. We talked a bit. I commented on our Herald, just passing the time. I'd never have thought of it again, I suppose, if my ship had sailed on time, but it didn't. The steward brought aboard some late papers, which came out while we were still at Southampton. I saw them after we'd been at sea for a few hours. There was this woman's picture and the story.
I understand. And now then, Mr. Harris, what information do you have which may be of help to us?
Well, the luggage rack on the car, Inspector. It was a large grey sedan.
How did you happen to notice it?
Well, I watched her cross to the station platform. I saw a man meet her in a chauffeur's uniform. I watched her enter this car. It happens, Inspector, that I design auto bodies. The luggage rack attracted my attention. It doesn't belong to that make of car. It's been specially fitted.
You're a very observant man, Mr. Harris, for which our deepest appreciation. One point, Mr. Harris. Among these ladies' hats on the desk, which one would you say was Miss Matthews?
Oh, this one, sir.
That, Mr. Harris, is the hat we found beside Ida Matthews' body.
At last. Someone to establish that Ida Matthews had been met by a chauffeur at the Boscombe station. Which chauffeur?
Yes, that's the car, the grey one. LK9054. That's the luggage rack I was talking about.
But what about the handwriting and the spelling?
Ask the License Bureau for Mitchell's application for a driver's license. I want to see the handwriting on it.
Within a day, the application lay on the inspector's desk, beside it were the originals of the wires with the misspelled words.
Well, Martin?
Not much doubt about it, is there, Inspector?
The experts will testify for us, Martin, but I'm satisfied. Get your hat. We're going to pick up Mitchell. Well, Martin, what kept you?
I saw his room, sir, and spoke with Mr. Dutton. Mitchell must have got the wind up. He's gone. But I found this in his room.
The key?
Duplicate key to the garage. Mitchell had access to the car any time he wanted to use it. And Mr. Dutton tells me he was on the verge of calling us when I walked in. Mitchell is paying the expenses of his little trip with forged checks.
That does it, Martin. Let's get back to the office.
Now the vast interlocking network of police authorities and police communications went into action. All across and up and down England, the teletypes carried the message.
Bournemouth to all stations. General alarm for one John Mitchell. Age about 42. 5 feet 8 inches tall. Weight about 165 pounds. Hair brown, eyes blue. Distinctive small low-pitched voice. Wanted for forgery and murder.
The word was out. Somewhere in England, a policeman would recognize John Mitchell. And a policeman did.
Inspector Gardner speaking.
This is Superintendent Cowan Redding, Inspector. We have this John Mitchell for you. Picked him up when he tried to get a job at a garage here as a mechanic.
John Mitchell was brought back to Boscombe. But the job wasn't done, even yet. After all, when the charge is murder, the plea of not guilty is mandatory. There must be a trial. And there must be attorneys for the defense. A man is to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. Therefore, the case had to be airtight, foolproof. No loopholes for a smart defense counsel.
Now then, miss, when you walk into this room, there'll be a dozen men there with their backs turned towards you. You'll walk in backwards yourself, so that there'll be no chance of your seeing even the backs of their heads.
Sort of blindfold test, sir.
Yes, without benefit of blindfold. You ready now?
Well, as ready as I'll ever be.
Let's go. Through here. These men have been briefed, Martin?
Yes, sir. They know what to do. They're to read the words on the cards I've given them.
Very well. You can begin.
All right. You.
Car will meet.
Next.
Car will meet.
Next.
Car will meet.
Next, please.
Car will meet.
And the next?
Car will meet.
That's him. That's the voice. I'd know it anywhere.
They were ready now, they felt, to give the Crown its chance to avenge the untimely and brutal death of one of its subjects. The prosecutor was confident. The defense was bold. Time and again, despite the experts, despite the weight of evidence, the defense managed to throw what seemed a reasonable doubt on the guilt of John Mitchell. The climactic moment came when Mitchell himself was on the witness stand. The prosecutor faced the prisoner.
Mr. Mitchell, we're about to go back to school. We shall have a spelling lesson.
I'm ready. Ask away.
Will you spell if?
I-F.
If. We shall be more difficult as we go along. Will you be good enough to spell expense?
E-X-P-E-N-S-E.
Very good, Mr. Mitchell. You've learned your lesson well. And now then, please spell Bournemouth.
B-O-U-R-N-E-M-O-U-T-H.
Well, fine, just fine. And, pleasant, Mr. Mitchell. How do you spell pleasant?
P-L-E-S-E-N-T.
I see. Pleasant. Just like a present.
That's right.
But it isn't right, Mr. Mitchell. Pleasant is spelt with an A. But you didn't spell it with an A today, nor did you spell it with an A when you wrote the telegram asking for a pleasant young nurse. What was your plan, Mr. Mitchell? Did you want to murder a nurse the way you murdered Ida Matthews?
Perhaps in that terrible moment as he stood in the dock at the Old Bailey, the mind of John Mitchell may have turned to that other moment when, all unsuspecting, he wrote out that fateful telegram. The selfsame telegram that can be seen today in the Black Museum. It might be said that John Mitchell was hanged by a missing letter A in the word pleasant. Be that as it may, circumstances caught up with this gentleman one morning at 8 o'clock, and he passed from this world because of a set of coincidences which fitted together in the minds of alert detectives in Scotland Yard. If Mitchell had known how to spell correctly, if Harris had not been a keen-eyed designer of automobiles, if Harris had not taken his trip when he did, if Marge, the post office clerk, had not been struck by Mitchell's voice. But it's no matter now. Now the telegram is to be found in its customary place in Scotland Yard in the Black Museum. And now, until we meet next time in the same place, I tell you another story about the Black Museum. I remain, as always, obediently yours.
Broadcasting System presents The Mysterious Traveler, written, produced, and directed by Robert A. Arthur and David Cogan, and starring tonight two of radio's foremost personalities, Grace Coppin and Carl Swenson in Till Death Do Us Part.
This is The Mysterious Traveler, inviting you to join me on another journey into the realm of the strange and the terrifying. I hope you will enjoy the trip, that it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back, get a good grip on your nerves, and be comfortable, if you can, as we witness the curious drama of an overpowering love that even death could not shake. A story that I call Till Death Do Us Part. It's late at night, and Chris Werby, a successful young businessman, is dreaming about his beautiful and affectionate wife, Vivian. But it doesn't seem to be a pleasant dream.
Oh, please, Vivian, leave me alone. Just leave me alone. Why do you insist on waiting on me hand and foot? I can't stand it, I tell you. I can't stand it. I can't stand it.
Chris, darling, you really must wear your muffler today. It's quite chilly.
Really, Vivian, I don't need it. I do very well.
Your wife's on the phone, Mr. Werby.
Vivian, this is the 5th time you've called me this morning.
But, darling, you had a headache. I just wanted to make sure you're all right.
I'm all right. I'm fine. But please don't call again.
Oh, Chris, your wife's waiting in your office for you.
Darling, I brought your vitamin pills. You forgot to take them this morning. Your wife's on the phone, Mr. Werby.
Oh, Chris, Vivian's waiting in the office.
Your wife's on the phone, Mr. Werby. Chris, darling. Chris, darling.
Oh, leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Chris, darling. Chris, darling, wake up. You're having a nightmare.
Oh, another nightmare. It was so real, so vivid.
Shall I call Dr. Williams, Chris? These nightmares you've been having worry me.
No, I don't need it, Doctor.
Then let me get you some hot milk to make you sleep, darling. I'm worried about you.
I don't want anything except to be left alone.
Why, Chris, I just want to help you.
I don't want help. I just want some peace. Vivian, we can't go on like this. You're smothering me. You won't let me live my own life. I want a divorce.
A divorce? Oh, Chris, you're being silly. You know you don't mean that.
I do mean it. If you won't divorce me, then I'm leaving you. In the morning, for good.
But, Chris, you can't be serious about this.
I'm deadly serious, Martin. I'm leaving the business in your hands, and I am clearing out. Maybe gone for 6 months, a year. Maybe I'll never come back.
But why, Chris, why?
Why? Because I am drowning in an ocean of love and attention, that's why. You know Vivian. She won't divorce me, so I'm clearing out.
But where will you go?
I don't know. I'll get on a train,
get off someplace, buy another ticket, ride a while longer, end up someplace where no one can find me. Not even Vivian.
Well, Chris, if you... Oh, excuse me.
Yes.
Mrs. Werby is here to see Mr. Werby, Mr. Martin.
Oh. Ask her to wait.
Yes, sir.
She mustn't see me. Stall her off, Martin. Now I'm leaving by the back way, and for heaven's sake, after I'm gone, convince her I mean it. I'm not coming back.
So, Chris Werby fled from the wife who loved him so much that her love was worse than hate. He went from one city to another, crossing and recrossing his own tracks like a hunted animal. 3 months later, he found himself in Portland, Oregon. In his room at a leading hotel, he drew a long breath of freedom and picked up the telephone.
Oh, room service, please. Room service? Please send up the waiter. Thank you. Oh, so I think I'll stay. New York, 3,000 miles away. That ought to be far enough to give me a chance to start a new life without... Oh, that's fast service. Just a moment. Come in and,
Vivian. Hello, Chris, darling. No. No, it can't be you. Well, of course it's me, Chris. Who else would it be?
But I didn't even know I was coming here myself. How did you follow me?
Chris, darling, I've only been a little way behind you ever since you left. Don't you understand? There's a bond between us. A bond of love nothing can break. It would lead me to you, even if you traveled to the other side of the world.
What do you want?
Darling, haven't you had enough of traveling? I want you to come back with me. I've made reservations on the evening plane.
No, I'm not going back with you.
Then I'll just have to stay here with you, Chris. Oh, darling, if you'll be reasonable, so will I. If you'll come back, I'll promise that everything will be different. I won't bother you anymore. Truly, I won't.
I could only believe that.
But it's true, Chris. You'll see. Everything is going to be different. Please.
All right, Vivian. I'll try. Just once more. Gentlemen, this will acknowledge your order of the 25th and advise you that...
Your wife's on the phone, Mr. Werby.
So, all right. Put her on.
Hello, darling. I just wondered what you'd like for dinner tonight.
Vivian, you mustn't bother me with such things. I don't care what we have for dinner tonight. This is the 4th time you've called me this morning. No,
Chris, darling, what is it? Another nightmare.
Yes, another nightmare. All day and all night, one long nightmare. You promised you'd change, that you'd stop hounding me, let me alone. And you haven't.
But, darling, I love you. I just want to do things for you.
Vivian, I warn you. I only came back to see how it would work. If it doesn't stop, I will leave you again. I swear it.
Then I'll just have to follow you again, Chris. No matter where you go, I'll know. Remember, darling, the minister said, "Till death do us part."
Till death do us part. Yes, I remember.
What, Chris?
I was just thinking. Perhaps I need a vacation. How would you like to run up to Maine for a few days? We could try the deep sea fishing. Just the two of us.
Oh, I'd love it, dear. Just the two of us. Oh, it sounds wonderful.
So a desperate idea was born in Chris's mind. There was only one way out of the nightmare Vivian's love was making of his life. Only one way. He decided to take it. A few days later, he and Vivian were out fishing far from land when Somehow the boat caught fire. They found themselves struggling for life in the icy water.
Chris, why doesn't someone come? We've been in the water for hours.
No, Vivian, only about 20 minutes.
Oh, it seems much longer. I'm such a bad swimmer. Help me, Chris. I'm all out of breath.
Oh, I'm sorry, Vivian. You clung to me for the last time. You're on your own now.
What do you mean?
I can swim for hours. When help does come, they'll only find me, not you.
Chris! You don't know what you're saying.
I tried to reason with you, but you wouldn't listen. And I ran away. You followed me. It's the only way that I'll ever be free of you.
You can't do this, Chris. I love you.
Grabbing me around the neck isn't going to help you.
No! You can't drown me. I won't let you go. I won't.
Yes, you will. Goodbye, Vivian.
Save me. Don't let me drown.
This is the end. Do you hear? I'm free.
I'll never leave you. I love you, Chris. I'll come back to you.
She's gone. I'm free. Free. Come in. Oh, yes, Martin.
Excuse me, Chris, but there's Miss Ballin to see you. Says she's an old friend of yours.
Ann Ballin. Well, I should say she is. We were engaged once. Show her in, Martin.
Sure, Chris. In here, Miss Ballin.
Thank you.
Ann.
Hello, Chris.
Gosh, Ann, it's wonderful to see you again. Why, it's been at least 4 years since...
5 years, Chris. 5 years, 3 months, and 4 days since you left Owensville.
5 years.
Mm-hmm.
A lot's happened.
Chris, I just learned that you lost Vivian 6 months ago. I want you to know how sorry I am.
Thank you. How long are you in town for?
Oh, I'll have you know I'm now a resident of this fair metropolis. I have a job here as of yesterday.
Ann, that's wonderful. You may not know it, but you're going to see a good deal of me.
And Chris and Ann Ballin did see a lot of each other. They picked up the romance that had been interrupted 5 years before when Chris first met Vivian. And 3 months later, they were married. With Ann, Chris was as happy as he'd been unhappy with Vivian.
Oh, Chris, it's a lovely present. But you shouldn't have been so extravagant.
Well, this is our first anniversary, isn't it?
What?
We've been married a whole month.
Oh, my, a month. So we have our time fly. Yes, darling. Are you glad I looked you up in such a shameless way? I did it on purpose, you know. I was determined to have you back at last.
It was a wonderful idea, darling. I don't know why I didn't think about it first.
5 years ago, I'd have been too modest. But you see, I learned something from Vivian.
Let's not talk about Vivian, dear. She was... Well, let's not talk about it.
You know, you sometimes call me Vivian.
Mm-hmm. Good Lord, it's just a habit, I suppose. I never think of her anymore, Ann. I swear it.
Oh, Chris, a message came for you.
A message?
Yes, from a fellow named Sidney Rand. Said he was from your hometown, was here for the day. He'd like you to meet him at the Murray Hill Bar after work for a drink if you can make it.
Sidney Rand. Of course I can make it.
Well, this is like old times, Chris. Have another, huh?
Yes, sure thing, Sidney. Bartender, 2 more of the same. Well, now tell me some more about the folks back in Owensville, Sidney. How's Sam Morris?
Sam? Mm-hmm. Oh, he's married now, got 3 kids. Jeff Layton married Margie Lewis about a year ago. I suppose you heard about Ann Ballin.
What can you tell me about Ann that I don't know already?
I guess this will come as a shock to you, Chris, knowing how fond you used to be of her. But Ann died last month.
What? What did you say?
Ann Ballard. She died a month ago.
But that's impossible. Sidney, you're wrong.
Gosh, Chris, I wouldn't joke about such a thing. I was at the funeral myself with Sam Morris.
But that couldn't be.
That's true, Chris. They never did find out what she died from.
It couldn't be. It couldn't be.
Chris, where are you going? Hey, what's the matter with you? Chris, come back.
Ann, where are you? Ann, answer me. She's not here. She's not in the house. Looks as if she hadn't been here all day. Maybe she hasn't been here at all. Maybe I
wouldn't joke about such a thing, Chris. I was at the funeral myself with Sam Morris.
Sam Morris. Yes, that's it. Operator, I want to put through a long-distance call to Owensville, Pennsylvania, to Mr. Samuel Morris. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello, is Sam Morris there?
Oh, I'm sorry. He's out. This is his mother speaking. Can I help you?
Oh, yes, Mrs. Morris. This is Chris Werby. You remember me.
Why, yes, of course, Chris. How are you?
Fine. I want to ask something. How is Ann Ballard?
Ann Ballard?
Yeah. How is she?
Why, Chris, Ann died last month.
Ann died last month?
Yes, very unexpectedly.
You sure? It couldn't have been somebody else?
Oh, no. We all attended the funeral, Chris. And we saw her in the coffin at the church just before the services.
Thank you. Thank you very much. No. I don't believe it. She's alive. We're married. I gotta go see her. I got to go see her body for myself.
Mister, you must be crazy. Getting me out of bed at 2 a.m. Look up the cemetery record.
I'm sorry, Mr. Andrews, but you're the caretaker of West Creek Cemetery, and I've got to know if a girl named Ann Ballard is buried here.
I know. That's what you said. Why do you have to know at 2 a.m? If she's buried here, she'll wait.
I tell you, I've got to know now. I'll give you $20 to look it up for me.
$20?
Yeah.
I have to see it first. Mm-hmm. Seems to me you're a little touched in the head about the whole thing.
Here you are. Now get out that record book.
All right, mister. I keep it right here handy. Never had to look at it at 2 a.m. before, though. What'd you say the name is?
Ballard. Ann Ballard.
Let me see. B.B. Here we are. First name in the beast. Ballard, George, Martha, Ann. Ann Ballard.
Are you certain?
Here it is, right down in black and white. Interred October 16, 1948. Section 15, Plot 5.
It can't be.
That's you say, mister?
I must see that grave. Opened.
Well, you'd have to get a court order for that, mister.
I want it open now. Tonight.
What? Say, I don't know who you are, but you better get out of here.
I'll give you $200 to open that grave.
You must be crazy. That's against the law.
$500. Nobody needs to know.
$500?
Yes.
You got it with you?
Right here. See? Now, that is all yours. If I can see whose body is buried in Ann Ballard's grave.
Well, I shouldn't do it, but won't do no harm, I reckon. Won't bother her any, that's sure. So, give me the money, mister, and come on. Listen to that dog. He knows what we're doing. We should be doing this, mister. The dead shouldn't be disturbed. Rest in peace, that's what the minister always says.
Rest in peace till death do us part. Let's see who's inside that coffin, because Ann is not there. I know she is.
All right, mister. I'll lift the lid now.
I can't see anything.
shadows are so deep.
I'll shine my light in. But be prepared now. But there ain't nobody in that coffin. It's empty. Empty. Yes, it's empty. I knew Anne couldn't be buried here. I knew she couldn't, because a month ago I married her. Anne! Anne, where are you?
Yes, Chris. Chris, here I am. Darling, where have you been all night? I've been so worried about you.
Oh, Anne, it's so good to feel you in my arms again.
Oh, dear, you act as though you never expected to see me again.
There was a moment when I thought I wouldn't. I thought... I don't know what I thought.
But Chris, what happened?
I've been so mixed up. You remember Sidney Rand, don't you?
Yes, of course.
Last evening I had a drink with him, and he started telling me all the news of Owensville.
Hmm?
Then he told me that you'd been dead for a month.
That I'd been dead for a month?
Yeah. And then when I got home, you weren't here, and I thought... I don't know what I thought.
Well, darling, it was only because I ran out of gas that I wasn't here when you got home.
I should have known it was something like that, but then, see, I phoned Sam Morris in Owensville, and his mother said the same thing, that she'd gone to your funeral a month ago. So I drove straight up to Owensville.
Chris, you didn't.
I'm afraid I did. I went to the cemetery where your family's buried, and there I found a grave. Yours.
My grave?
Yeah. The tombstone said, Anne Ballin, November 15th, 1922, October 14th, 1948. I couldn't believe my eyes.
What did you do then, Chris?
I paid the caretaker to help me dig up the coffin. And when we opened it, we found it empty. Anne. Anne, what is it? Why are you laughing like that? Anne!
Chris, Anne Ballin is dead.
Anne Ballin is dead? Anne, what's wrong with you? You're Anne Ballin.
I'm not, Chris. Look deeply into my eyes. Don't you recognize me?
Recognize you?
Yes. I'm not Anne. They were right. She's dead. Don't you know who I am now, darling? Do you remember that day in the ocean? I told you I'd never leave you, that I'd come back to you.
Vivian. No. You can't have come back. Your face, your eyes. You're Anne.
Only outwardly, Chris. Close your eyes. Listen to my voice. Now you recognize me. Don't you, darling?
Vivian! You are Vivian.
Yes, Chris. Vivian in Anne's body. Because mine was lost at sea.
You can't be.
But I am, darling. Nothing can ever separate us. I love you too much. I couldn't come back to you in my own body. So I stole Anne's.
You stole Anne's body?
Yes, Chris. I drove her out of it. They thought she was dead. Before she was buried, I took her body. I escaped and closed the coffin so no one would know. Then I came to you. Oh, darling, now we can be together again as we were before. And I don't have to pretend to be Anne any longer. We'll be together forever.
Together? Forever?
Yes. Forever, Chris. Nothing will ever separate us again. Not even death.
This is the mysterious traveler again. Poor Chris. He'd have been so much happier if Vivian had only hated him instead of loving him. There's nothing he can do about it now. Everyone tells him he's so lucky to have a wife who loves him so much. And then they wonder why he gets violent. At once I knew another man who... Oh, you have to get off here. I'm sorry. But I'm sure we'll meet again. I take this same train every week at this same time.
You have just heard The Mysterious Traveler, a series of dramas of the strange and terrifying. Here's an announcement of interest to listeners to this program. Mysterious Traveler comic books are now available at newsstands everywhere. Carl Caruso speaking. This is the world's largest network serving more than 500 radio stations, the Mutual Broadcasting System.
We hope you enjoyed this program from RadioClassics.com. Programs are copyright their respective owners. All rights reserved.
Sunrise and sunset, promise and fulfillment, birth and death. The whole drama of life is written in the sands of time.
We present a new series of radio programs, The Clock.
Hello, nice to see you again. Pleasant to be back. Got a little time to spare, 30 minutes maybe by the clock. Funny thing about time, to some it's priceless, to others it has no value. It's the most perishable commodity in the world, and yet it lasts forever. If we lose it, we're unhappy, but we don't mind giving it away. For instance, there was young Joey. Have you ever heard of Joey Harper? Well, perhaps you haven't. He's a likable young fellow, though, alert, ambitious, and cheerful. Well, usually cheerful, anyway. For even the best of dispositions can often change. I'd like to tell you about Joey. Will you listen? It might be worth your while. It's so amazing you may not believe it, although it could have happened to you.
Oh, listen, Lois, listen. You gotta listen. It wasn't my fault. Oh, gee, honey, I love you. I wouldn't hurt you, Lois, for all the money in the world.
All the money in the world. Joey used those words before, but in a different way. Joey felt that money made the clock go round, and that everyone had it but him.
Joey?
Yeah?
What are you thinking about?
Your old lady.
What?
I mean your mother.
Oh. Yeah, I'm sorry about what she said, Joey.
It's not your fault. Maybe I'll never have any more dough than I got right now. Maybe she's right, I'm just a bust.
Oh, don't say that, Joey. You gotta give yourself a little time.
Time? How much time do you think I got? I'm 22, Lois, practically middle-aged. I'll be tripping over my beard before I get a nickel in the bank.
Maybe it's your job, Joey.
No, it's not my job, Lois. I done everything from selling insurance to driving a hack. But I always make the same amount, $35 a week.
You can't expect to be successful overnight.
Other guys can do it. Why can't I? You know, it's like a jinx. I work like a dog. I yell for a raise. I stick my nose to the grindstone till it hurts. But it always comes out the exact same way, Lois. 35 smackers a week.
Everybody can't be rich, I guess. Everybody can't have $1 million.
I wish I was so rich that $1 million was just like chicken feed. I wish I had all the money in the world.
Joey?
Yeah?
Look at this window display. Oh, isn't that a lovely ring?
I'll say it is.
Which one are you looking at?
The one with all those diamonds.
Oh, that's not the one I mean, silly. I'm talking about the gold one. The plain one over there. The wedding ring.
Oh.
I guess it isn't really very expensive, is it?
Well, who cares? We're not going to buy it. Joey! Oh, let's face it, Lois. You know your mother won't let you get married to me. She thinks I'm a lemon. She wants to settle low with cash.
We just have to be patient.
Barry Cannon's the guy for her. His old man's got dough. He'll own the business one of these days, and he'll be in solid. Me? I'm just a jerk.
Joey, please don't spoil the evening by talking that way.
Barry's the perfect son-in-law. He's got dough in his pocket and a new suit in his back. Even the fillings in his teeth are made of gold. And someday I'm going to knock him out one by one just to prove my point.
Joey, if you dare get into a fist fight with Barry Cannon, why, there he is. There's Barry in that car.
Hi there, sweetie.
Hello, Barry.
How goes it, Joe?
Pretty good. Until you got here.
How do you like the bus?
Why, it's new, Barry.
Yeah, still be back 1,500. It's got style.
Oh, I think it's lovely. Don't you, Joey?
It reminds me of a hearse.
Joey.
Still sore at the world, Joey?
Why don't you take that over-polished kitty car and go right home?
Joey, I wish you wouldn't be so rude.
Oh, that's all right, Lois. I don't bruise easily. You coming to my party on Friday night?
Well...
We're dressing, you know. It's formal.
Well, we're not going, Barry.
Well, if you're worried about the clothes, I can lend you my dinner jacket. I'm wearing tails.
You'd certainly look good with tails, Barry. Hanging from a tree.
Joey!
All right. If this guy appeals to you so much, Lois, I'll bow out. I'm sick and tired of hearing him talk about himself. And I'm sick and tired of hearing your family talk about me.
Hey, what is this? Lover's quarrel?
Barry, you driving uptown?
Sure.
Would you drop me off at my home?
Hop in.
When you're ready to apologize, Joey Harper, you can let me know.
Joey just stood there and watched Lois drive away. And he felt she didn't understand. The tragedies of youth can be painful things, mellowed only by time alone. If he could only have explained to Lois. If he could have only told her...
You don't know what it means, Lois, when a guy can't afford to buy his girl an engagement ring. When I take you to the movies, we always sit in the cheapest seats. After a while, Lois, it gets so you begin to think that money's the most important thing on earth. And you can't live without it. Sometimes you even feel you don't want to live without it.
Yes, if Joey could have told her that, the story might have been different. But he didn't. He had too much pride. So he merely watched the girl he loved drive away with another boy. Then he turned and walked slowly home. But every once in a while, he'd pause in front of a shop window and look hungrily inside.
Beautiful, aren't they?
What?
Those ermine wraps.
Huh. Yeah, cost a lot of dough.
In the next shop, they have a cigarette case made of solid gold.
You know, it'd take me a week to make enough money to even buy the boxes they come in.
That money won't bring you happiness.
That line was invented for a laugh by the guys who got it.
Really?
And the laugh is on guys like me.
You're wrong, my boy.
Who says so? Who are you, anyway?
I beg your pardon. I didn't mean to intrude.
He was a little old man in a worn felt hat. And to Joey, he seemed as old as... time. He seemed to shuffle as he walked, as if his balance was bad, and Joey saw him start to cross the street. The light suddenly changed, and the heavy surge of traffic made the old man panicky. He started to run without looking around. And the driver in the bus turned the corner and didn't see him. And then Joey Harper bounded forward and made a flying dive. The two of them rolled over to the curb.
What happened?
You almost got killed, that's what. Here. Let me help you up.
Thank you. That bus, I didn't see that bus.
Look, mister. In New York, you watch where you're going when you cross the street. Those 10-ton buses can make a permanent crease in your future.
Yes, I guess I'm not used to all this traffic, but you saved my life, young man.
Forget it.
No, young man. You saved my life. Not that it's worth very much to me, but I have a great capacity for gratitude.
Well, I guess you and I are in the same boat, Pop, when you say your life isn't worth very much.
But I'm old, and I have no one who cares. But you're young and strong. Why do you feel the way you do?
It's simple, Pop. I'm broke.
You mean you haven't got a job?
Well, I got a job. I can always get a job, but what good does it do? I'll never make enough to live the way I like.
How would you like to live?
You ever read The Count of Monte Cristo?
Yes.
Well, that's the kind of dough I'd like to have. Not $1,000 or even $1 million. I'd like to have so much money there'd be no end to it. I'd like to wrap up the world in cellophane and stick it in my pocket like a pack of cigarettes.
Yes, but money isn't everything.
It's enough for me.
You see, I have the kind of money that you talk about. Unlimited quantities to do with as I please. I am the richest man who ever lived. But it doesn't make me happy.
Pop, you didn't crack your head on that curve, did you? You still okay?
Where do you live, young man?
87 Neville Street. Why?
And what's your name?
Joey Harper.
My name is Pickering, and I'm going to reward you for saving my life.
You better keep your money, mister. You look like you need it as much as me.
I said I'm going to reward you, Joey. And I mean it.
Yeah?
I'm going to give you all the money in the world.
Joey watched the old gentleman shuffle away, and in spite of his depression, Joey smiled. All the money in the world. Joey doubted if the old man had anything more valuable to give away than his time. But Joey didn't know how valuable the old man's time could be. A few minutes later, Joey reached his furnished room. He'd made a big decision. He was going away for good. He'd forgotten all about Mr. Pickering by the time he'd packed his bag, but when he opened the door to go, the old man was standing there with an envelope in his hand.
Good evening.
Oh, hello, Mr. Pickering.
Are you going somewhere?
I'm getting out of this town. For keeps. I'm through back in the system. I know when I'm licked.
Do you have a minute to spare?
Sure. Come in.
Thanks. So this is where you live.
Yeah, classy, isn't it?
You prefer more elaborate quarters?
And I'm going to get it, too. Tomorrow night I'll probably sleep in the park, and then I'll have plenty of room to move around.
I'd suggest a 4-story brownstone mansion. I believe there's one available right now. Of course, you'd have to arrange for a staff of servants, but that could be managed, too.
What are you trying to do? Give me a ride?
You can give her to me, Joey, when you get your limousine.
Well, right now I'm using the subway.
Joey! Come back, Joey.
Would you mind leaving me alone?
Come back, Joey, and open this envelope. It may change your mind about many things.
What's in that envelope?
When you open it, you'll see. But before you do, remember this is only a trickle. It's a drop in the bucket. There's more where that came from, lots more, and I promise you I'll keep you well supplied.
You must be nuts.
I have no more use for what you'll find in that envelope, Joey. I've achieved my goal, you see. I only hope it'll help you to achieve your own. Go on. Open it, Joey.
Hey, it's money.
$500,000 in $1,000 bills. It's yours, Joey. It's all yours.
Have you ever wished upon a star and had that wish fulfilled? It's common among mortal men. Joey knew the meaning of wish fulfillment when he stared at all the money on that table. For 5 full minutes, and I timed him personally, he didn't move. $500,000. And Mr. Pickering had said it was only a drop in the bucket.
What are you thinking of, Joey?
I...
Are you planning to do a lot with your money, or are you thinking of calling the police?
I just can't talk.
No, Joey. I didn't rob a bank or lift a payroll.
But where'd you get the money?
Are you asking questions, Joey? Are you going to waste time in quibbling, or are you going out to satisfy every dream and every ambition you've ever had?
You're right, Mr. Pickering. I'm just a sap. I've been tearing my hair and beating my chest and praying for a break, and then when I get one, I'm scared.
Scared? What's there to be frightened about? You didn't steal anything. There's everything you've ever wanted on that table, and there's more to come. So why bother with questions? Grab it, Joey. Stuff it in your pockets. Go out and spend it.
You just watch my scene.
There's a store downtown, Joey. An expensive establishment that deals in boats. They have a yacht in the sales.
And that's the first on the list. I'll start with the expensive stuff and then work my way down the scale of the junk. Where's my hat? Oh, never mind. I'll buy a couple of dozen on my way down.
Help you?
That's a nice club you got standing there, mister.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
And what's it cost?
Well, that yacht is our largest model, 90 feet, accommodates 14 people. Its cabins are completely furnished. It requires a crew of 6.
I asked what it cost.
$145,000. F.O.B.
I'll take it.
You what?
I said I'll take it.
And how will you pay for it?
In cash. $145,000. Any tax?
You got that cash in your pocket?
$145,000 on the nose. No tax?
The tax is included, sir.
Have it shipped to the Hudson River and let me know what pier. I'll give you my address and you just give me a receipt. And if you're a nice boy, I'll come around and buy another one. When the paint wears off the one I got.
You've heard of King Midas? Well, he was a candidate for the poorhouse compared with Joey Harper. You wouldn't believe what he managed to accomplish in the next 3 hours. You wouldn't believe it unless I gave you my word for it, and I was there with him when it happened.
116 silver limousine, I'll pay for it in cash.
Yes, sir.
One ermine wrap from a gold friend, and I'll pay for it in cash.
Yes, sir.
This tail coat looks nice. I'll take 4, and don't forget the shoes, the shirts, the socks, and the suits. I want the most expensive money can buy. Oh, yeah, and throw in those garters over there. You know, the ones with the diamond buckles? And stick my initials on everything, brother, just the way I like. If you got something to sell, then bring it out. I'll buy anything and everything just as long as it isn't cheap, and I'll pay for it in cash.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Joey.
Mr. Pickering.
I hope you don't mind my waiting here in your room. I was wondering how you made out.
Oh, I'm doing fine. I just bought that 4-story private house. You know the one that faces Fifth Avenue? And I told him to throw in the doorman for luck.
How does it feel to have all that money?
Oh, it feels like being on a merry-go-round.
You haven't got tired of it yet?
Tired of it? You mean there are people who get tired of money?
I was merely asking.
Brother, I'll never get tired of it.
Well, enjoy yourself, Joey. I presume you have everything you want?
Just about, except my girl. But when her mother hears about this doll... Oh, yeah, but that reminds me, I'm running short.
I thought you might.
I don't like to be a hog about this, Mr. Pickering, but you told me it was only a drop in the bucket.
Quite so.
And $500,000 isn't nearly enough for what I want to buy.
I guessed as much, so I took the liberty of bringing more.
You mean... inside the suitcase?
Yes, Joey, there's $10 million in here.
$10 million?
You think it might last for the rest of the week? However, it doesn't matter. There's really no limit to what you can spend. Oh, Joey, the money is mostly in $1,000 bills.
So I noticed.
And just in case you've been having trouble changing bills of that denomination, I've added a few $100,000 in 5s and 10s. I hope you don't mind.
$10 million. Holy smokes.
Enjoy it, Joey. And remember that the bucket hasn't even been touched.
What a boat, Joey. And what a car. That's the slickest job I ever saw.
Come around on Sunday, Barry, and I'll have my chauffeur take you for a spin around the park.
Oh, Joey, darling, I think it's wonderful. Mother just can't wait until we get married.
Well, she'll just have to wait. Tell her to take it easy, and maybe I'll even invite her to the wedding.
2 Rembrandts and 1 Da Vinci. Is there anything else you'd like to buy, sir?
Why, sure. There must be something else. There must be.
Yes, Joey had bought everything he could think of, and he still had millions left. He had all the money in the world, but he didn't have all the time in the world in which to spend it. Then something peculiar started to happen in Joey's mind. The last shopping spree he'd had wasn't half as much fun as the first. There didn't seem to be anything left for him to buy. He had everything a man could ask for, yet somehow he wasn't happy. And he wondered why.
Joey.
Oh, hello, Mr. Pickering.
I thought I'd come up and see you again, once more.
Oh, now, look, Mr. Pickering, I don't need any more money. Honest, I don't. Look, I'm having a tough enough time right now spending what you gave me, so will you take it easy for a while, please?
What's the matter, Joey? You sound unhappy. You have everything you want, everything you've ever wished for. Isn't that enough?
Well, it should be.
But it isn't. I know. I came to that conclusion myself. You see, Joey, you have nothing to look forward to, nothing to work for. When things come as easily as they've come to you, they lose their value. They become cheap, Joey, even though they're worth a fortune.
Is that what happened to you, Mr. Pickering?
Yeah, my fate was even worse. All my life I lived to achieve one goal, and then when I thought I'd accomplished an artistic triumph, I found that I'd failed. But one day I'll try again, Joey. Oh, yes, one day I'll try again.
Try what?
To make the perfect $1,000 bill.
You mean you made that money you gave me yourself?
I'm a printer, Joey, and for 20 years I've printed nothing but handbills and dinner menus. But I also happen to be a genius, and I was going to prove it. My goal was to make money so perfect in every detail that the right thing would look like a counterfeit.
Oh. No. You didn't make it, though. You didn't.
Now, just a minute, Joey.
No.
Remember this. I didn't make that money to cheat the government. Oh, no. I never spent a cent of it. To me, it was an artistic goal, no more, no less. I am not a counterfeiter, Joey. I am an artist. Here, Joey, what are you doing?
I'm calling the police.
Don't bother. They're right outside your door. They followed me here.
You got me into this, Mr. Pickering. You got me into this. You got to get me out.
Joey, you're getting too excited.
I didn't know that dough was bad. You gave it to me. You told me it was a reward, Mr.
And so
Pickering.
it was a generous reward.
Open up in the name of the law.
No, they aren't going to take me. Stay out. Stay out of
You
here.
can't escape, Joey. There's nothing you can do. And your time is running short.
You and your money. Why'd you keep out of my life? Who wants your money? Who wants it? Who wants it?
There's your man, officer. Do your duty.
Why, it's the district attorney himself.
$5 million. He passed $5 million in counterfeit money.
And we'll give him a year in jail for every nickel.
No.
He told his chauffeur to take me for a ride.
How?
Now he'll take a little ride for himself.
Keep away from me. Keep away from me, all of you.
My mother was right. Joey Harvey, you've disgraced me.
Lois, you got to listen, Lois. I wouldn't hurt you, Lois. Honest, I wouldn't.
500 years in jail.
In solitary confinement. And I get the girl.
500 years in jail.
Hard labor. And I get the girl.
No, don't touch me, Lois. You've got to listen. Lois, listen. Lois, you got to listen, Lois.
It's all right, Joey. I know. We all know, Joey. But, Joey, it's all right. What? Joey. Joey, darling.
Lois? Where are we?
You're in a hospital, Joey. You've been delirious ever since you started to come out of the ether.
Ether?
Don't you remember? That old man you tried to save downtown, you pushed him out of the way and the bus hit you.
The bus hit me?
But the doctor said you'd be all right. Oh, Joey, I was so frightened, so scared I'd lose you.
Then it was all in my mind? Just in my mind?
You talked so much and said such funny things. The doctor told me that often happens to patients like you. Joey?
Well?
Haven't you noticed the flowers?
Yeah. The flowers.
Mother sent them.
What?
Joey, you're a hero. You've saved somebody's life. You're going to be in the papers tomorrow and everything. But best of all, Mother thinks you're wonderful. And she's planning the wedding just as soon as you're well. Oh, I don't care if we have to struggle a while, because I know you'll make good if we work hard together.
Mr. Pickering said you got to have something to look forward to and work for to be happy.
Mr. Pickering? Well, who's he?
Just the guy I met under the ether. Lois, pinch me.
Pinch you? What for?
I just want to make sure I'm still not under the ether.
And that's the story of Joey Harper as recorded by the clock. It worked out pretty well, all things considered. The moral? Well, yes, I suppose there is a moral to this story, but I prefer to leave it up to you. Sleep on it tonight. Give me your answer in the morning. I'll be at your bedside, but I'll make sure to ring before I drop in. And now it's time to leave you once again. It's been very pleasant for me. I hope it's been enjoyable for you.
The Clock will be heard again next week, same time, same station. This program is written by Lawrence Clee, and you've heard Hart McGuire as the Clock. As Joey, Rodney Jacobs, as Mr. Pickering, Owen Ainley. Others were Carly Neville, John Bonney, Ken Hannum. The Clock is directed by John Saul, a Grace Gibson radio production.